Button. Go for it.
G'day and welcome to On The Esky, a sports podcast where we like to wrap up the week in sport, smash a few Mark Stubby Taylors and talk some absolute dribble. We've actually got a few weeks to cover. Been off channel. Congratulations are in order. The man on my left, second time daddy, well done.
Thank you.
And we're coming to you live from our new studio. The man on my right, Monkey Magic, down in the monkey cave, let's call it. It's like a poor man's back cave. On the menu for today, we have cricket. Justin Langer gets absolutely shafted. We'll be talking about that. We'll talk Sri Lanka. We'll talk India, West Indies. Shield cricket's back. We've got that live. And the IPL auction, the mega auction they're calling it. Each team has only retained 4 players tops. Some have less. And I'll be chatting with the Delhi Capitals later this evening to discuss that. Super Bowl preview, Super Bowl Monday for us, Super Bowl Sunday in the US. Joey Franchise and the Cincinnati Bengals going up against Matt. Thank God I'm not in Detroit, Stafford's Rams. NBA, big week in the NBA. Trades galore. Ben Simmons will join Patty Mills in Brooklyn. The All-Star game is incoming. James versus Durant, both jerseys there. Don't really make any sense these days, do they? We've got soccer.
Wrong
the battle for fourth continues in the EPL. Kirk Zuma kicked a cat. The World Cup qualifiers see the Socceroos with an uphill battle. UFC 271 will kick off a final round with Israel Adesanya taking on Robert Whittaker for the second time. And big side, Shuivasa's taking on the killer, Derek Lewis. Winter Olympics are away. It's been a successful games for us so far as Aussies. Please remember, we have timestamps. You can skip to the sports that you like, or if you're an absolute nuffy, just listen to the whole thing. Chuck us a subscribe on the YouTube, a follow on the Instagram. I've already introduced you boys. Let's do a shout a beer. We like to shout a beer to reward a brilliant effort during the week. Sean, who are you shouting a beer this week?
Well, I went a bit different for my shout out beer this week. I want to shout a beer out to the koala. Officially made endangered species this week. So as proud Australians as we are, I just wanted to shout a beer out to the koalas and say, get around the little fellas. They're doing it tough at the moment.
Give them beers. I'm sure that'll help the koala population. They're already riddled with chlamydia, so a few beers wouldn't help. Wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't help. Don't know, really.
One or the other.
Monks, what do you got for us?
I haven't put too much thought into it this week.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm just going to shout a general beer out to all the F1 fans out there. Season's kicking off pretty soon. Some of the teams have unveiled their new cars for the season.
Yes, they have. Looking very tasty.
Definitely new aero kits and all that sort of stuff. Testing is going to start happening in the next fortnight, so
when does it kick
exciting
off?
times.
When's first Grand Prix?
March.
Yep, month away.
March.
It's usually in Australia, but I don't think they're going to start with us. No,
Who
I don't
knows?
think so.
Australia's going to be further on in the season, but
Our COVID rules, no comment. New studio, new me. New studio, new me. No more COVID rants.
Wait till we start talking about
jeez.
cricket team going to New Zealand and not going to New Zealand.
Well, we already spoke about it. It didn't happen. So,
NRL news on that as well.
Anyways, I'm sick of talking about that pandemic stuff. Let's talk about some sport. I'd like to shout a beer to Harold Varner the third. I don't know if you boys caught this one. He had an eagle putt from just a casual 90 foot. Wasn't on the green, so could have 3-putted and not gotten the snake. And he sunk it.
The old Texas wedge.
The old Texas wedge, your favourite. And he drained it. Absolute scenes to win the Saudi Invitational, beating out Bubba Watson. Bubba couldn't believe what had happened. Some people say I look a little bit like Bubba Watson. Don't play golf like him, that is for sure. I'll take looking like him as a compliment, but definitely doesn't reflect my golfing abilities. Mop of the week. I'm going to give it to the shirt that I'm wearing. It's just everyone involved. Cricket Australia, it was a really, really messy handling of the Justin Langer situation. That will get us into our first topic of discussion for today. The not continuing of Justin Langer's tenure as the coach of the Australian cricket team. He came in 4 years ago after Sandpaper Gate, was given a flaming hot mess, really. And we saw how Tim Payne was handled, before the Ashes, a lot of hoopla surrounding that. And the thing is with JL, there's no real indiscretion. They won the T20 World Cup for the first time. They were a wicket away from a 5-zip Ashes sweep, and he's gone. Yeah. Sean, I'll pass it to you. What are your thoughts?
There was a whole bunch of kind of stuff that went into this. Like, there's been history. There's been a heap of chatter about do the boys get around him enough? Do they like his coaching style? Is he too intense? Some chat that as well, like for Paddy Cummins now, the captain, he wants to bring in his coach essentially, and the boys that are in, say, the Cummins camp, very much on that same kind of track, and we're like, hey, we potentially might want to change. And then I guess Cricket Australia kind of shafted him, like you said. They just won the Ashes. They just were on T20, and they're like, oh, we'll give you what essentially a 9-month contract to get him to the end of the World Cup this year in Australia.
Yeah, six months is what they'd offered him. He said, no, I want a proper contract. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I deserve a proper contract. Yeah. And they said, okay, well, we'll part ways.
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting that kind of offer, and he was like, well, fine stuff here as well.
Mate, it's the old Simpsons meme. Yeah. That's it. After 20 years, thank you and goodbye. I don't recall saying thank you. Mate, the whole thing was a shit show. And like you said, it seems like a lot of it comes from the playing group, which is really disappointing. You would think, obviously, JL, a heart on his sleeve, passionate kind of guy, a black belt, I believe, in judo, karate. One of the
discipline.
One of the disciplines.
Yeah, and he's very disciplined.
Yeah, he's a very disciplined man, a very passionate man. And yeah, it seems like he lost the group despite them having a bunch of success. Some talk now that England might try and nab him. Could you imagine that? He'd have some secrets to share if that was the case. Cummins, he did release a statement during the week. I think probably the key point.
His interview as well. I think the interviews were a bit wishy-washy, giving
a bit nonchalant.
Coach speak. A whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, and the big question mark was JL too intense? Well, if a bloke's intense and you're winning, I think that's a good thing. Well, cricket and politics, geez, they aren't two words that ever go together, are they?
No, and I think as well with the guys getting to play with other coaches, like through the IPL, a bunch of them were playing with Punter. There was like they could see the different style and what they prefer.
Yeah, well, a lot of the chat was that Punter might be getting this job. Ronald McDonald, he's got the team at least for this Sri Lanka series and Pakistan, which we'll talk about in a second. A lot of the talking heads were throwing their opinions around. Mitch Johnson did not hold back at all. It looked like Mitch Johnson bowling to the fucking Poms in 2017. He just went straight for Pat Cummins, said it was gutless, said he hung his coach out to dry. Obviously, Johnson would have played at the very back end of Langer's career and, coming through WA system, probably pretty close with JL. Big Mitch Johnson didn't hold back there. And the bloke that never holds back, Shane Warne, he was vocal. And look, I kind of agreed with Warnie's sentiments, saying that the whole thing was handled pretty poorly. Yeah. It did seem like it lacked a little bit of respect for a man who really has not done much wrong, considering the baton that was passed on to him and where the team is at the moment. You can't really fault the on-field performances, can you?
Yeah, well, besides the Indian series, outside of that, what have you done recently for me? I won your World Cup and we won the Ashes.
We did go 2-8 in T20s against West Indies and Bangladesh last year, but all is forgiven. All is forgiven, possibly with an understrength side.
Yes,
but I agree. In the last 6 months or the last 4 months, what has the bloke done wrong? Obviously, performance is not a key indicator if you should be the coach of the Australian cricket team. Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. At least his old batting partner, his old running mate, Haydos, he's got a new little pup, and he named him Alfie after Alfie Langer. So going forwards for JL, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Does he want to have a sabbatical, spend some time with his family? Obviously, a lot of stress being the Australian cricket coach. Travel. Actually, probably 2021, the start of the year, is probably the least stressful part of any coach's tenure, given that they didn't really play any cricket for a little while. But yeah, going into an Ashes and a World Cup, pretty stressful, being away from your family, isolation and the like. Does he go that route, or does he just go, next highest bidder, whether that's England,
exactly, goes, fuck him, I'm going.
Or maybe goes and coaches maybe an IPL side or a a big T20
There's a few new ones.
side. So. Yeah, that's right. So wishing JL all the best and thanking him for his service to Australian cricket after a pretty rough changing of the guard after Sandpaper Gate.
Yep.
So you mentioned Andrew McDonald did play 4 tests, I believe, for Australia. A long-time Victorian stalwart, big redhead. He takes over as like an interim. I don't think that he is the coach, but will he be the head coach going forward?
Yeah, long term.
Time will tell. So he does have this Australia-Sri Lanka series and the tour to Pakistan. The squad was announced for Pakistan. We've got Pat Cummins, captain. Ashan Agar, Scotty Boland, he was never getting dropped, was he? Alex Carey, Cam Green. Marcus Harris retains his spot in the squad. Very interesting, given his dropping for the test in Hobart and a little bit of a lacklustre performance so far. Josh Hazelwood, Travis Head. Josh Inglis gets into the test squad. Good on him. Usman Khawaja off his stellar performance. Marnus Labuschagne, the best bat in the world. Nathan Lyon. Mitch Marsh in there. Michael Nisa, Steve Smith, Mitch Stark, Mitch Sweption, Dave Warner. Lads, do we go to Pakistan? It will be the first time in 25 years if the tour goes ahead. It's all apparently confirmed, but as I was saying in one of my group chats at the moment, nothing is confirmed in the COVID era. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember who pointed it out to us, but someone said there'd been a recent bombing in Pakistan about a month ago. So again, it might be miles away from wherever they're doing this, but that just scares Cricket Australia, of course. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think it'd be funny if they go to Pakistan. Oh, excuse me. If they go to Pakistan but don't go to New Zealand.
Well, that seems like New Zealand's locked down hard. Jacinda Ardern doesn't want to have anything to do with anyone. They want to keep New Zealand safe of the deadly spicy flu. Again, I'm not going to go down any tangents. It's a new year. It's new me. It's a new studio. I hope for the Pakistani fans that have been starved of international cricket at home for so long. Obviously, they've had a couple of little tours so far, but nothing would be like Australia going over there. It is scheduled to kick off 4th of March, so we're under a month away. So fingers crossed, everything goes ahead, and we see Australia return to Pakistan for the first time in pretty much our recent memory. Yeah. Speaking of that Sri Lanka series, it kicked off last night. 5 T20s underway. I won't run through that squad. We'll just run through the game and the outs, actually. Dave Warner still out with that rib complaint. Mitch Marsh did his hammy in the Big Bash. And Josh Philippe omitted, it seems. He did have COVID for the Big Bash final. But
I think he ended up with COVID twice, I think, during the IPL. I think he got it right at the end, and I think he got it at the start too. So.
Long COVID, maybe. I don't know. Again, COVID. We'll talk about sports.
Yeah. We're not doctors.
Australia made, well, given the week's events, it doesn't seem you have to be a doctor to talk about COVID anyways.
Nope.
Australia made 9 for 149. We actually got off to a really good start. That man, Ben McDermott, is in red-hot form. 53 of 41. And then outside of 30 from Marcus Stoinis, a bit of a lacklustre end to our innings. We're kind of looking at 170, 180. And the Sri Lankan bowlers, credit to him, especially big Benura Fernando, 2 for 12. He's going to be an absolute cult figure, I think. He's 6'6". He's got the Jimi Hendrix headband and fro going on, and he's sending them down like Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock in 1969. Like just, he looks really good. And the Sri Lankans are fiery. Their spinners like to give a bit of a send off. Unfortunately, they weren't able to match it with the bat. A little bit of drizzle came through Sydney, shocked me. That we lost an over, and it was not too much of a contest in the end. Australia getting home. Sri Lanka finishing 8 for 122. Josh Hazelwood, welcome back, son.
Yes.
That rested him well, 4 for 12. And Zamps,
Glad to see him healthy.
3 for 18. We have 4 T20s upcoming, another one in Sydney, then down to the Theatre of Dreams on Tuesday night. You've got a baby. We've got shit to do. I don't know if any of us will actually make it down there. We'll see what happens. And then 2 in Melbourne. But look, Sri Lanka not blown out of the park by any means. It was a reasonably competitive game. Speaking of a series which hasn't been super competitive, we jump over to India and 3 ODIs at Ahmedabad in that big new stadium, Narendra Modi Stadium. India won them all. They won the first one by 6 wickets. Skittled West Indies for 176. It was looking like it could have been a lot worse. The Windies were 6 for 78. Jason Holder, 57, saved them from embarrassment. They did it pretty easy. The Indians, Rohit Sharma, 60 with the bat. In the second ODI, India won by 44 runs, made 237. SKY with 64. And how about this? We always talk about the depth of India. Prasidh Krishna, he's not really a household name. He bowls sort of right arm mid fast. 4 for 12 off 9 overs. Thanks for coming. Pretty handy effort there. And then it was an absolute walkover for the Indians. In the third ODI, 96-run victory there. Shreyas Iyer, 80 with the bat. Kohli, a duck, and has failed to contribute too much so far. Jason Holder, 4 for 34 for the Windies, has been their best. They move into some T20 cricket now, I believe.
Yes. So, just sticking on India, they have a captain yet? What was that? What was our time frame that we were talking about with them? The test coming up.
Can you see
in 2 weeks?
It's not. It mustn't be far off. It must be about 2 weeks away. They've got these 3 T20s, and I don't think they've named a captain. So it's all still up in the air. It seems.
So who captained the one day? Was it
Sharma? Yeah. So Sharma's got both the white ball teams. Do they unify? You know, we spoke about this last time, and it was 3 weeks ago, our last podcast. Yep. And no results. So yeah, I really thought we would have a result by now. Yeah. If anyone wants to get us in the comments, we are live streaming at present. Who you think going forward? We discussed KL Rahul. We discussed maybe them following our suit and going for a bowler in Jasprit Bumrah. We discussed Rishabh Pant. Is he too young? Who knows? Who really knows?
They're keeping it close to the chest at this point,
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing coming out. So
very little to no news reports about any sort of speculation.
See, I would have thought 2 and a bit weeks out from a test match, you'd need to have a captain named. That would be my personal thinking. But who knows? Surprises, boys.
Yeah.
But then again,
what's good?
I guess the team's still on. Well, they're not on tour. They're playing. They're back in India playing games, but they're still playing matches. Whether they want to find a nice point where the squad kind of breaks and rests for a week, and then that's where they announce it. But I don't think they've got much time left. We've gone straight into the IPL auction.
Well, and we did speak about this last time. We said it has to happen before the IPL auction. Surely you won't want that news story breaking on the IPL auction weekend. Seems like they've kept their cards close to their chest. They'll go IPL auction, and then maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Maybe next week sometime.
I think you can't have too much news in one day. Can you?
Apparently not.
It's not a nice spread, a nice even spread.
Yeah.
You want a little bit of salami, a little bit of olives, some cheese, some dips, nice spread.
The Italian lady.
Nice spread, yes.
I know I've been saying the last couple of weeks that they've probably already tapped someone on the shoulder, but considering that they haven't announced anything yet, do you think they're still waiting to make that decision? Are they still looking at form in the ODIs?
And that's a great point. I think the captain knows he's going to be captain. I just think we, the public, the tragics, the nuffies, are yet to find out. But I suspect after this IPL auction Monday, Tuesday, check your Twitter feeds, check your social media. Just wake up and breathe. You'll probably find out who's captaining India.
Well, which is if they know though, that's surprising they've managed to keep that secret. For that long.
Mate, loose lips sink ships. They don't want any shit going on like going on with Cricket Australia at the moment, where just everybody into each other, Although the circus around Kohli, it does seem very reminiscent of Langer and Payne.
You'd think if they knew, it'd probably be like at most 3 to 5 people in the world who know.
That's right. Very
so
close.
Everyone's...
The circle of trust. The circle of trust, Fokker. But here's the circle. Here's you, Fokker.
Yeah, but as if you
weren't... The parents' reference there.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it deserved a laugh at least.
Yeah. I was laughing. If they'd picked someone, though, you would have thought that person probably tells their parents. And then brag. And then brags and then gets out. And then it spreads. Like, if you're the captain in India, people know.
This is an Indian cricket team. If he's going around telling people he's captain, he's not going to be captain.
That's right. Snitches get stitches.
Maybe that's what they've done.
And in India, they probably get worse.
Yeah. They've probably told 3 people you're captain and then waiting for who leaks it. And then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. You're out. The Circular Trust for Whittaker. Yeah. All right, IPL auction is underway in, what have we got, 5 hours? Kicks
4 hours?
off. 4 hours, quick maths. We will be speaking with the Delhi Capitals later this evening. I think that's just you and me. You've got dad stuff to do, I believe. But we will be reunited with our DC Cats. Go Cats. Obviously no Steve Smith there this year, but we'll talk about them in just a second. Let's talk about the 2 new teams first. So we've got a 10-team comp. The IPL has tried this in the past, and those teams folded. They went bankrupt essentially. But the 2 new teams, we've got Lucknow Super Giants and the Gujarat Titans. They'll be based out of Ahmedabad. Just double check that is the name that they're running with, the Gujarat Titans. I think that may have only been announced today as the side from Ahmedabad. Let's start with Lucknow. Super Giants. We're talking about how everything's got to be, super. We've got Super Kings and we've got super this and this and that. Yeah. It's a very Indian thing, isn't it, to have a Super Giants or a double-barreled team name. So welcome, anyways, to Lucknow. KL Rahul, skipper, marquee signing. He will be the joint highest paid player in the league at $2.3 million US. Big Puppy Stoin. Big Puppy. I was talking about it with Sarah because him and Cummins were batting together last night for 1 ball. And I said to my wife, I said, check it out. The 2 hottest men in world cricket are batting together. and then big Paddy Cummins got out the next ball. Anyways, so he'll be there, and Ravi Bishnoi, the leggy. So that's the 3 that the Super Giants have. And then Gujarat, is that the name that they're going with? The Gujarat Titans?
They're going with the Titans.
Confirmed, the Titans.
It's on the webpage.
Remember the Titans. Hoo, ha, we're here. Hoo, ha, feel good. Hardik Pandya, we'll skipper them. He's gone for $2 million US. Shubman Gill and Rashid Khan, pretty good signings there. All right, let's talk about the Super Kings, defending champs. How's this for 4 names? Ravi Jadeja, MS Dhoni, Moeen Ali, and an up-and-coming superstar, Ruturaj Gaikwad. The defending champs retain 3 strong locals, and Moeen Ali, a pretty handy all-rounder himself.
Oh, yeah.
Do we see them maybe as the favourites going forward? Well, how do you tell before there's any players? But that's a pretty handy 4 to have, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, I don't think it matters at this point.
No.
Yeah. And we talked about it last year. So the great thing about the IPL is, depending how your auction goes, any team can win. Mm-hmm. So, and even after the auction, the lists are all still elite across the board. Yeah. So it's again, any team can win. They just need to put it together and make a run.
And after sort of stumbling through a COVID-affected and simultaneously competing against the Ashes Big Bash, I'm pretty keen to see some world-class T20 cricket. Yeah, that's right. We spoke about it. The last few episodes, the Big Bash was somewhat of a disappointment this summer. So
there's a lot of other sport going on.
Well, there was the Ashes.
And again, it's chicken or egg. Whose fault was it that the Big Bash was a little bit lackluster when you schedule matches?
Cricket Straight.
Channel 7. Well done. Channel 7. You too. We'll get to the Winter Olympics soon, but some of their coverage has been shocking. Delhi Caps, pretty strong 4 here, 3 Indians and a South African. Rishabh Pant, he'll skipper. Akshar Patel, Prithvi Shaw, and Anrik Nortje. A bit of a mouthful of those last 2 players there. Thanks very much for that, Delhi Capitals. That'll be fun tonight to say. No Steve Smith. He was hardly making the side towards the end last year.
Barely got picked last year.
Yeah,
even through the auction though.
So obviously a big Steve Smith fan myself. As Australians, big Steve Smith fanboys. So it'll be interesting to see who the Caps pick up that we can get around as our now defaulted side, essentially.
Who were the?
I'll be speaking about it with them this evening. We need some merch.
Yeah. Yes,
we need some merch.
Who are the big Australian names in the auction?
In the auction, so no Australian. We'll get through it in a sec. We are only halfway through.
I know. I've had the thought, and I didn't want to forget it.
Well, literally every Maxi got retained. My apologies. But outside of Glenn Maxwell, everyone is up for grabs. So we're talking Dave Warner, we're talking Steve Smith.
But they're all going over there. They're all going to be available.
And Stoinis that we just spoke about.
Yes.
So two Australians. Fuck. Need to get this shit together before tonight. So 2 Australians are there. Big Stoin, Big Maxi. Yep. So the likes of Pat Cummins has no team. The likes of Dave Warner, we mentioned, has no team. The likes of Mitch Marsh has no team. We saw big money going for Riley Meredith and Jai Richardson last year. Will they go for big coin? Who else off the top of the head? Yeah, Hazelwood is massive. Probably a little bit of a drop down towards Matthew Wade. Does Ben McDermott get picked up after his huge BBL?
Last year, though, they went heavy for the international bowling, like fast bowlers.
Yeah.
Didn't really go after a couple spinners, and not really that many bats. It was the bowling stocks, the international fast bowlers is what they went after.
Yeah, great point there. You can only have 4 overseas players, and India, we've actually seen, the last few years having a really good bowling, depth with the likes of Bumrah and Siraj and Shami, but that's where they went last year. They wanted quicks in particular, foreign quicks. So is that where the money goes? I
think Mitch Marsh might be a bit of a smoky for a dude that he can bowl some pace. He's not the fastest, but he bowls decent wheels.
He was the best Australian T20 cricketer of last year.
Exactly,
and he nearly won the Alan Border medal without playing Test cricket.
Yeah, and he can bat. So he can bat and bowl.
Yeah, he's coming off a hammy, but it's 2 months away. His hammy will be fine. You'd imagine. Yeah,
I think he'll get good
shout there. I think the Bison might be in for a bit of a paycheck. Let's wrap up the other retainees. Kolkata went with Dre Russ, Varun Chakravarthi, Venkatesh Iyer, and Sunil Narine. Mumbai Indians, this is pretty handy for Mumbai, always strong. Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, SKY, and Kyron Pollard. That's a strong 4 right there. What about Punjab Kings? Your former team. Obviously, we're all Delhi Capitals fans now.
Obviously, yeah.
But Mayank Agarwal and Arshdeep Singh, the only ones to be retained, 2 players, the least out of any franchise, absolutely cleaning out house, which means they're going to have heaps of cash to blow in this auction. So let's wait and see. But I imagine Punjab go hard early, trying to get some good overseas talent.
They've got most cash to spend out of all the teams this year.
By a long way.
Yeah.
Rajasthan, they got their captain Sanju Samson with Josh Butler and Yashavasi Jaiswal. Royal Challengers Bangalore, they only kept 3, but it's a strong 3. Kohli, Maxwell, Mohammad Siraj. Pretty fucking handy right there. And then big news out of Sunrisers Hyderabad. We already knew it last year, but Dave Warner will not be returning to the franchise that he's been at for a few years. Kane Williamson has been retained and will captain, and they didn't spend too much keeping Abdul Samad and Umran Malik. So I think after Punjab, Sunrisers Hyderabad have the most cash to blow.
Yes.
Again, we will be talking to the Delhi Capitals later. That is about 7:30 Australian Eastern. It's about 3 o'clock Indian Standard.
Should be good fun.
Speaking of India, they won the under-19 World Cup. So things just keep going up. Everything's coming up India. To quote The Simpsons, Millhouse being India, blue hair, blue team. I don't know. They did beat England by 4 wickets and absolutely smoked us in the semi. We finished 3rd, and we did mention Afghanistan making the semi-finals. Really positive stuff to see there. It's their 5th under-19 title, the most. Boys, are we looking at more Indian dominance to come in the years?
Yes.
Yes. Next question.
Short answer, yes.
Next question.
Yeah.
We spoke about how England just got absolutely dominated down here. In the women's Ashes, they didn't win a game either. So that meant between the men and the women, I think it was like 14-0 in terms of...
One draw, I think, is what they ended up with.
Yeah. So 14-0 and a draw. That does take into account the other tour games. England A, Australia A, and the same in the ladies. India obviously beat us the last time that they were down here, and we see them constantly be competitive away from home. It's looking pretty dire, I think, for everyone else that has to go to India at the moment.
I think England, they need to go away and sort probably their backyard out first to just get some more young talent through. I think India, like we said, has plenty, and Australia probably will maintain their top 11, and they'll have 11. That's it.
And we saw it last year when we were playing those T20 games in Bangladesh and West Indies and losing 4-1, getting pumped, with probably our 6 or 7 best out, and we're just going, oh, geez, how are we going to going into this World Cup? We're not expecting anything, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, put those six in.
But then you put the best 11 out there, and we're strong. We're strong as fuck, boy. We're strong as fuck.
To the point we won the World Cup. So
Exactly. But that depth, we talk about it. India can play their second best team and be competitive.
Yep.
They can play a third best team and polish the bottom, the riffraff.
Yeah.
So it's looking scary, and a lot of that is the IPL developing these kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing at such a high level that it was a good rule for them to bring in that they had to play 7 Indians in each game, and we've just seen constant development of Indian cricket. As fans of Australian cricket and have to go up against them, it is pretty scary moving forward. But Definitely in for a long, hard road, I think, going forward.
Potentially that's because of, for us, kind of maintaining our level of Shield cricket's kind of starting to work its way back in. Shield cricket's currently going. So
yeah, yes and no. I remember going, actually wanting to go to Sheffield Shield. Maybe this is just how much of a nuffy I was as a kid. But I remember, living in Canberra, we didn't have any Shield access. So whenever I was up in holidays in Sydney and Adelaide, mostly in my Christmas breaks or summer holidays, I'd love to just go watch New South Wales or South Australia play. Yeah. I don't think there's too many kids that you meet these days that say, I want to go down to Hunt Road and watch Will Pucovski play for Victoria. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't have that allure. And a lot of that is T20 cricket. A lot of that is the effect of the game changing. But yeah, the Shield is back. We should fucking mention it. What have we got? We've got Victoria taking on South Australia currently. Mm-hmm. The Vicks 2 for 37.
Because I was going to ask about this.
I think Pucovski is playing. I think he got out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
When was that Pakistan test meant to start? Is that a couple of weeks away?
Yeah, 4th March. So Pucovski not in that squad.
Yeah, but there's guys playing, of course, today that are in that squad. So they haven't planned to leave yet. Because Alex Carrier was in that squad. I'm pretty sure he's keeping here. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Carey in action. Travis Head should be in action, I believe. What are we? February 12, March 4.
I guess it's 3 weeks away.
You'd want to be on a plane in at least 10 days. Yeah. There's those 2 men right there, Carey and Head. How good's that? Playing for South Australia, just won the Ashes. Both played pivotal roles in that series. So Shield cricket is back. Maybe there's another game going on as well, isn't there? New South Wales playing.
Yeah, I think they've hit 300 as well, so they must have done all right.
So in the first innings there, Pucovski made 54. So good to see him back, getting his bat on the leather. We've spoken at length as to how much cricket he's missed. Poor fella just keeps getting hit in that noggin. So good to see him out there making runs, being positive. Someone who didn't make runs and hasn't been positive, Marcus Harris.
Yes.
Marcus Harris. Did he?
No, he hit double tons like a week or two ago. In his first game back.
This is the first weekend back, dude.
No,
was it for a grade team maybe?
Which probably makes sense.
Yep.
He should be pumping those blokes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You'd hope so.
No, I did see that. That was in his return to grade cricket, but these are the first 2 Shield games back. So, whether the selectors pay attention to that, look, 200 runs, 200 more runs than any of us would score in first grade cricket. But yeah, you kind of, if you're in Team Harris, if you're in Camp Marcus Harris, you probably want to see him make a few Shield runs. He may not get another opportunity before that plane leaves. So we'll see what happens there. What is the other game? It's New South Wales and Queensland. Yeah. Am I not mistaken?
We'll check that.
Yeah, New South Wales, Queensland down there. Jeez, it's done, is it?
It's done. Yep.
It's done. So the Blues pump the Bulls. Is that what it is?
Yes.
All over it. No, they didn't pump anyone.
Close.
2 wickets, and absolute bowler's paradise in that game. Yeah. Anyways, Shield cricket's back. Keep an eye on it.
Before we get to the NFL, Trent Naden, your good mate.
Yes.
Dono, a little $8 there. wants to see a live skull. Do you want to finish that up for him?
Yeah, it'll have to be a whole beer. $8. Yes, I'll do that.
For $8.
So standing here, this is good quality live
Well, when you pull that out, we're going to go into the NFL now. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl.
We will, yep.
Can you donate straight to our YouTube? Is that how that works?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Neither did I.
Might start making donations under other people's names.
Just drum up some traffic.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you, Trent. Here's a skull for you.
Here's for what I'll do for $8. Cheers, boys. New studio. No. Let's look. It's for the $8. It's for the new studio.
New studio.
Congratulations. It's for
Cheers.
the new child.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The new year of the Esky.
Can't be doing too many of these per podcast.
No, we can't. Also,
Don't wanna
whilst
train
I do
it.
this, I need you guys to pay the team for like 15 seconds. So let's not go.
That's right.
Let's
Might
not
be
go
able
straight
to-
to Bedlam. All right.
Might be able to handle 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay,
longer
boys,
than that,
cheers.
not sure.
Monks, who's playing in the Super Bowl?
Yep. So we've got Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams playing the Super Bowl this coming week.
How'd they get there?
How did they get there?
Who'd they go through?
They won a lot of games.
Good chat, boys.
They beat the Bengals.
Chiefs.
Beat the Chiefs.
Bengals beat the Chiefs. Yeah, huge.
And Rams beat the 49ers. Obviously, big divisional rivals there. I've spoken at length at my disdain of the 49ers as a Green Bay Packers fan. They always just do nothing, and then
yeah.
the bloody playoffs.
They just beat the Packers.
It's nothing.
That's it. They've got one game that they need to win during the year, and that's it during the playoffs.
And then they'd win multiple every playoffs. They go in and they're 10-6 or 9-7 or whatever it works out with the stupid 17-game season.
They're just like, we're the Packers. How do we get to them? Oh, we've done our job. Let's go home.
So I'm glad the Rams beat the 49ers.
You do have to commend them, though. Like, last couple of seasons during the regular season, decimated by injuries.
Yeah.
Which I guess means that all of their players are healthy for playoffs.
It's tactical injuries. Is that what you're going with? Well, they lost their top 3 running backs in the first 2 weeks of the season, didn't they?
Yeah. And still managed
Well, they found Elijah Mitchell as well,
Yeah,
which helps.
Who had him on the draft board?
Debo Samuel.
And Debo Samuel. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Their best wide receiver goes, hey, I can be an elite running back too. But anyway,
where you need me, coach.
the Rams got over, and the Bengals, how about that win against the Chiefs? Down 21-3, were they not?
Yep.
21-3. It's usually the Chiefs do the opposite of this. They start really slow and
Big
then they
challenge for the
hunt
Chiefs.
teams down. Yeah, at halftime, you're just thinking, oh, well, congrats, Patty Mahomes and co. You're going to the Super Bowl. Probably deserve to be there, I guess, based on talent. But they had, a bit of a choky lala at Arrowhead. And the Bengals, after not winning a playoff game for nearly 30 years, go bang, bang, bang. Let's go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
On a run, on a heater. So that's probably the impressive thing. So they come into what ends up being home turf advantage for the Rams, though they're the away team in the Super Bowl.
How does that work?
Yeah.
It alternates between AFC and NFC, so they're the away team for this year.
Still makes more sense than most COVID rules.
Yeah. But what do you boys think about these two squads going head to head? Where do you think this kind of ends up?
It's hard. It's hard. Let's start with the matchups. There's two big matchups here, I think, and they're the matchups that any idiot could kind of lay out. The offense and defense of both sides going up against each other. Let's start with the Bengals offense going up against the Rams defense. This Bengals offensive line has been notoriously bad throughout the year. They passed on Penei Sewell in the draft. Kind of worked out all right, I guess. Jamar Chase winning Rookie of the Year. But can they stop the likes of Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller and co. And the Rams secondary, you talk about coverage sacks. They got an elite secondary too.
Yeah.
Every week we go in and we think, this Bengals offense, they're pretty high powered, expect to see a lot of points, yada yada yada. But against this Rams defense, can we see Joey Burr going out there and doing his thing? Thoughts?
It'll be hard.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard. Very hard.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned the matchups, like the two best defenders through the playoffs being Aaron Donald and Von Miller, going up against your offensive line that has been
Leaky.
Yeah, turnstile essentially.
Yeah. Burrow out there running for his life, still getting shit done.
I think offensively the teams are kind of comparable. They both have similar kind of weapons. Offensive line, very different. I think Whitworth kind of adds a little dimension to, and I believe he's playing. He struggled with injuries over the last couple of games.
He's
playing
40.
Of course.
What about the head on Whitworth compared to the head of Tom Brady?
Yeah. And Walter Payton, Man of the Year as well. So shout out for that.
Doing good stuff in the community.
Yes. So
playing against his old team of 10 years, 11 years, I think he was there. Maybe longer.
So my big concern is probably more on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Because we know the Rams have talent everywhere.
Yep.
Whereas
so your concern is with the Bengals defense.
Defense, yes.
I agree. Let's talk about that. But their secondary has been really, really good. Jesse Bates, Von Bell.
Who's their safety that's coming on? He's going in the free agents. Is it Herbert or something like that? One of their safeties has been doing excellent for them. But again,
Bates, Bell.
I'm not sure. I can't.
I'll bring that up.
Doesn't matter. Their secondary though has been pretty good.
Classic Sean story.
Yeah.
You know that guy in that movie.
He's a guy.
Here's a guy.
Eli Apple though, he's been good, but he's not like he's not a Jalen Ramsey.
No one's Jalen Ramsey.
But he has in like an elite top 10 kind of cornerback. He's a pretty good, really serviceable quarterback, but he's not a guy that you're gonna be really scared of. You will take chances and go after him. And I don't know, their front seven just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, outside of Hendrickson.
Henry's good for them.
He's been a really good pickup coming over from the Saints. But the rest of that front seven, you think of the old Bengals front seven, when they had Burfict, that was like a mean, with Geno Atkins in the middle, a mean front seven, probably their strong suit.
Yeah, and but then they couldn't cover anyone. So
and now it's kind of the opposite, isn't it? That front seven is kind of getting carried by a pretty reasonable secondary.
So my problem being is like if you do the simple matchup math, you've got the Rams should be able to score points on the Bengals. The Bengals will be able to score points, but probably won't have as many opportunities because of that defense. So they're going to have to chase a lot. So, to me, I don't think it's a huge blowout like a 42-15. So, no, that makes no sense. 16.
15. I'm going for the extra two.
Yeah. Like a teen score where
missed an extra point and 2 field goals.
But like a 30-point lead, essentially, by the end of it. I don't think you're going to get that kind of game, but a 34-21 kind of scoreline, I can see that happening. I think Rams home as well. Though it's not a home game, it is a home game. Probably adds just enough to them. I think the Rams will get this.
Interesting.
But I think the Bengals probably play Chiefs again next year in the championship game, and may play in another Super Bowl. They just need to add offensive line and defensive talent. They're there.
All their weapons are so young.
Exactly.
Burrow's second year.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to blow that team up. It's not going to be
Dixon's only, fourth year. The Bengals, you'd imagine if they can keep that core together, will be good for a long time. Whereas you feel like the Rams, this is their chance. They went all chips in.
Oh, they're all in.
All in. They've got some older dudes. Von Miller's not getting any younger. Matt Stafford's not getting any younger.
Yeah, well, Von's only on essentially a loan deal. He's on the 1 year and he's free.
Even Aaron Donald, as elite as he is, he's no spring chicken. So you think the Rams, it's kind of do or die now. I tend to agree. You'd think that the Rams have the advantage when you do the matchups. What about who are we rooting for here, boys? Who do we want to win? Have you got a horse in the race, or do you just want to see a good game of football?
Probably the lot. It's the answer to that question because I wouldn't mind seeing Von win another one.
Yeah, big Broncos fan here.
Yes, Stafford getting his first as well. Yeah, in there. But then
after all those years in Detroit.
But you can't hate the Bengals as well. They're not like the Patriots at all.
And that's what makes this Super Bowl so fun, because there's been a team that's pretty unanimously hated in a lot of the Super Bowl. You talk about the Patriots outside of the northeast of the United States, pretty well hated throughout the Brady Belichick era. Then the Chiefs, more recently, pretty well hated. There's. And neither of them massive franchises, like Dallas is always hated by anyone that's not a Dallas fan. I just spoke about my disdain of the 49ers.
The Rams.
Neither of these teams are really.
The Rams are
it's like they're both good blokes,
Yeah, the Rams are third year in LA now.
For my fourth year back in
Fourth, maybe?
Yeah.
Around there. So
There's
a young.
there. God forgot that the Rams moved to St. Louis.
I glad
He's
you
talking
bring-
to Homer. He said, "Does Los Angeles still have a set team?" He said, "No, they moved to St. Louis."
Yeah.
It escaped God's memory.
Yeah. Having said that, Simpsons reference, they did have the Bengals beating the Rams 34-31 in one episode that I think played out a Super Bowl. So
You're joking.
no, I'm not.
The Rams and the Bengals.
Yes.
So they predicted Trump. They predicted a bunch of shit.
So whether that's a Super Bowl prediction or not,
They had the Rams and the Bengals.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah. That's been floating around on the socials this
Yeah,
week. I have seen that.
the older I get, the more that I don't discredit the simulation theory. It's like it's all been done before. You know, like this podcast. It's like code, simulate, shit podcast. And it's here. It's here. We're living it out in real time.
Let's wrap it up and summarize. So I'm leaning more towards Rams, and I think probably by a 2-touchdown lead is what I'm thinking.
Really? So you got Rams minus line.
Yeah. And
The line won't be 2 touchdowns.
No. So and probably overs like a 34-21 or
34-31.
21. Yeah. So like the 2-touchdown lead in there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. What about you, lads?
I'm going to go the Bengals.
Bengals.
I'm just going to go. Yeah. They just keep going. Cincinnati gets absolutely destroyed on on Sunday night. I think the momentum. Look, it's hard to justify why. You know, as we've just been through, you'd say that the Rams have got the advantage on both sides of the ball, but it's a game of football. It's a game of football. Anyone can win it. You know, Joey Burrow coming off the ACL, being the comeback player of the year. You know, we spoke about them passing on Penei Sewell to get his best mate. You know, like absolute mates.
Yep. Yeah, worked out for him.
Yeah, I'm going to the Bengals. Look, no real confidence. Just I kind of like the story a touch more than the Rams. But like we spoke about, there's no villains in this one. There's no Batmans and Jokers. There's no Lex Luthers and Supermans.
Not at all.
That's coming from a guy with very limited knowledge in that kind of comic world. So yeah, you'd be happy that I managed to get those two references.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go the Bengals. Not really on any kind of intellectual level, just on a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Bengals.
Yep.
Bengals by one. By one. Yeah. Miss extra point.
Well, all the other ones have been decided by field goals. So.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping for. As a neutral, I don't have a dog in this fight.
McPherson, like he's
Unlike Michael Vick.
Yes.
I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm going to go the Bengals. I just want to see a good game.
Yeah. Max, who you picking?
Yeah, this is a hard one. Again, more so from the point of view of the storylines. Like you'd like to see Stafford get his first. You'd like to see Bond get another one.
OBJ. We haven't even really mentioned OBJ. You know, resurgence after everyone saying he's trash, he's washed up, this and that.
How many games did he play for him?
For the Rams?
Mid-season.
I think he's had 8 touchdowns or something as well. Like, he's just been an absolute weapon in the red zone.
Yeah.
It's vintage OBJ. Like, that's a cool story. We talk about Eric Weddle, you know, being in retirement for a few years and coming out. We haven't even mentioned the fucking offensive player of the year in Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
You know, who had him as a top 20 receiver going into the end.
True.
No fantasy draft boards did.
Nope.
I'll tell you that much. Cam Akers, you know, like we talk about all these likable stories in the Bengals. What about all these likable stories for the Rams? Cam Akers, he ruptured his Achilles in the preseason, and he's coming back and he's looking faster and shiftier than ever.
Oh yeah,
Huge preseason,
he's got definitely a lot of health in his legs. So Monks,
Maybe I changed my tip. No, just for the sake of being interesting, because I feel like I know where you're going to go.
Where are you going?
I'll go the Bengals.
I'd like to see the Rams come up, but Lunar New Year of Tiger, going Bengals.
Bengals. Right, the lone one on the end of the table. All right.
I like it. You're the Tiger. The Tiger King, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Monks.
Free the Tiger King. Joey Exotic.
Monks, what are the odds?
The odds don't reflect the Chinese calendar.
No,
by any means.
has not. So Peps and I have gone against common sense. Bengals are.
I've been doing it my whole life. Do a podcast, they said.
We just got $8.
That will go a long way in today's economy. We're not living in Detroit. Housing prices going strong here. Apologies to any of our listeners in Detroit. I'm going to go on a strong whim that we don't have any in Detroit at present.
Go for it, Monkey.
Yeah, Bengals are underdogs, $2.64. The Rams are favourites, $1.49. We have a line of 4, and total match points over unders is 48.5.
I think we'll go over 50. So
Yeah, I like the overs there.
yeah.
I don't think there's any reason why not.
As a resident unique bettor on the table, Ricken has asked, what prop bets or any unique bets are you going to put on in the Super Bowl?
Give me the screen. I like overs. I like the overs. I think 48. Even this is coming a few episodes after saying never bet on the fucking overs. but weather's not going to be an option. Okay.
No.
So that's something that we always thinking about. And it fucks us always. Like,
Yeah,
excuse my French, but you go to Buffalo and it's it's snow and it's minus 10 in real terminology.
Yeah.
And you go pump the unders. It's going to be unders. And then Josh Allen goes out and they score 47 points. Like,
Yeah.
So weather
it clears up and then the wind stops and you're just like,
So weather's not an issue here.
Nope.
The issue for betting the overs, like we spoke about, is this Rams defense. This Rams defense could go out and hold this red hot Bengals offense to 10 points, 17 points. That's not unreasonable.
No.
That is not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. Having said that, I feel like 48's a reasonable.
I think so
line.
as well.
Can you get what's the overs on passing yards for both quarterbacks?
Yeah.
I really quite like that. Anything around sort of
What about
250, 260, I'd take.
Yeah, and then I was thinking maybe receiving yards for Cooper and Chase, depending what it looks like, and
the problem with
and yards for Akers. That's probably my other.
Yep. I like that. We spoke about Cincinnati's front seven maybe not being super
So
strong.
if it's reasonable,
do they try and pump the rock? A little bit. We've seen the Rams,
especially if they get a lead, as we're thinking they're probably going to lead a lot of this game, and the Bengals will chase.
Mate,
it's just whether they can catch and
two boys
win.
just got on the Tiger King here. We're going so exotic straight out of the gates. But yeah, and I am a punting enthusiast. Let's put it lightly. But I haven't really got my bets all lined up just yet. But yeah, off the top of the dome, overs on the game and overs passing yards. Mm-hmm. What have we got? 270s?
Yeah. Yep. No, 280. So Joe Burrow's just under 280 at 278.5.
Yeah.
Stafford is 283.5.
Yeah, it's a bit.
If you like the Bengals and you think you're going to win,
Joey
Barrow's got to go over that to win.
Yeah,
that
I agree.
game, so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
What else have we got?
Cam Akers rushing yards.
Yes, Cam Akers rushing yards. We have got overs of 64.5.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind
that at all.
Yeah.
Cam Akers. Yeah.
Jamar Chase receiving yards 78.5.
Just pump it over.
Just pump the overs. Or what about this?
He will have Ramsey on him.
True,
but again, we're probably expecting Joe Burrow to throw this ball 50 times.
Well, then what have we got? Can we get T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd?
Higgins.
If you can chase that up. We've got months working overtime here. Yes. Yeah, and we probably haven't spoken about that matchup. We mentioned it. No. We haven't spoken enough about it. This is let's call it the number one cornerback in the NFL. I don't think there's any arguments there. Yep. And Jamar Chase, the rookie of the year, top 5 receiver in the NFL. Definitely top
debatable,
10.
But offensive rookie of the year. So
definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
He's elite talent.
That matchup, I cannot wait. Wait. As a former wide receiver myself, and it's 2 former defensive backs. You know who I want to win. You know who I want to win. Jalen Ramsey saying he used to slide into the opposing receivers DM. No, not his DMs. His Mrs. DMs is what he was saying. That was his head noise kind of tactic. Fuck off, Jalen. Let me go run it. I'll go run a post against Jalen Ramsey, and you can see him jam me at the line and put me on my ass and take a pick 6. Anyways,
all in one play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I can't wait for that matchup. And the other thing is, will Ramsey just play to the one side, or does he follow Chase?
Well, the chat all week has been that he wants to follow the best player, but scheme wise, they might change it out. Whether they then say you got Waddle back there, do they kind of slide him and try to double him, and then does that free up Higgins and Boyd They've got options, so
Monks should have some numbers there for us. T. Higgins,
Yep.
Tyler Boyd.
So T Higgins overs is 71.5. Tyler
Still
Boyd
pretty high.
42.5.
Still a bit, isn't it? Still a bit.
Yeah. I think
You know
going.
what, Ricken? Maybe we can just enjoy the game without having to be degenerate gamblers and just enjoy it like we did when we were children.
everything. Just put it all in a massive multi $10 and,
Yeah, that-
and pay out $1 million. That's
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. What I say to myself every weekend before I waste money on gambling.
That's it.
Remember how passionate you were about any sport when you were a child? Didn't involve gambling or alcohol?
Yeah. And to keep on giving into that addiction, Cooper Cup, we've got overs of 105.
That's a huge line,
That
man.
is huge.
And if anyone can do it, it's Coop.
Yeah.
It's Coop. What did he put up in the NFC Championship game? 140?
So also to match that, if you do the maths, total receptions for Coop, his overs is 8.5.
Ooh, I don't mind. I'd rather take that because sometimes he can be a bit catch heavy and a bit short on the yardage. So I'd probably take the receptions. OBJ, have you got anything there?
And final one, can you get MVP, Super Bowl MVP?
Oh, that-
Because
yeah, that's awesome.
if Coop's doing 140 and over 8 receptions, and let's throw a few touchdowns in there, potentially he's MVP chat. It's a
If he catches eight balls for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, fucking
Yeah, who's throwing in the ball?
I hate it. Well, they will pick the quarterback, but you never know.
No, yeah.
It might be the moment. He might take a slant and take it 80 yards, and that wins him the game. Give him the MVP. It's like, yeah, he's done it all.
Yeah.
what about Aaron Donald MVP against that?
That's why I want to go to MVP because we haven't talked about fancy players. So give us Beckham, and then we'll OBJ, and then we'll go to MVP honors.
Yeah. So before I touch on Baker.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm struggling now as well. Beckham, Jamar Chase, his overs unders for receptions was 5.5, matching that 78.
Again, I think I like receptions more than yards there.
Yeah. And then for Beckham, we have got overs of 63.5 and receptions of 5.5.
I like Beckham. I like Beckham's more than I do Cooper's.
Yards or catches?
Both.
Both.
What's OBJ anytime touchdown scorer? We're really going hard on the degenerate
We are.
gambling here now.
This is becoming an epic multi at this point.
Because
Hopefully someone's putting
he
this
has
in.
been cashing. We spoke about it before. OBJ red zone target. He's been massive for them since joining.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that if you can get $2.50 maybe. And that is Sean just missing an absolute layup.
Yeah. Just
Beck-
practicing my inner Westbrook there.
Yeah,
This season.
yeah, this season. He's also in the NBA.
Yeah, he's an
we're
all-star,
sitting in a
so-
basement.
3 guys in the basement.
Three boys, 1 basement. Hey, am I right?
This isn't the church. Come on.
Oh, so all right. First studio episode, and we're cancelled.
Yep. Can't say that.
There's worse things we could say. Keep going.
Back on track.
Back on track, yeah.
Beckham,
Steady the ship.
anytime touchdown is $2.40.
Oh, yeah. Don't mind. Don't mind.
Cooper Cup first
First touchdown.
touchdown scorer, sorry, is $6.50 if you are interested in that.
Anytime he'd be $1.70 probably.
$1.67 there.
There we go. Do this a bit too much.
Jamar Chase, $2.25 anytime there as well.
What about Big Joe Mixon?
He's $2.10 anytime touchdown.
Interesting.
Bit of value there for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Again, because it depends on how they play that D.
Ricken, if you're online, let us know. Are we speaking a different language when we start talking in this kind of terminology? Because obviously, as fans
I think-
of the UFC, I imagine the way that they do it is plus
Yeah, they do
100,
the
plus
plus and
200,
minus.
plus and
You
minus,
can't
et cetera, et cetera.
convert- you can't convert it like everything,
It does,
but
it does
it's not-
require a little bit of thinking, which obviously we all lack.
Yeah, we know how we are with the maths.
MVP honors. Let's finish
Yes.
with that.
MVP,
So-
yeah, run us through that.
Now, if we go through to the MVP honours, so reflecting the odds, reflecting Cooper Cups.
Your favourite, is he?
Cooper Cup lock.
No, his stat line. We've got Matt Stafford as MVP at $2.20 flat.
$2.20.
Yep.
I don't know about that. It's so short.
Is he favourite?
Yep. His favourite. He is favourite.
You'd hope so.
I would not be leading with him if he
Yeah.
wasn't favourite. Behind him, obviously, I assume as the Bengals, if the Bengals get their win, Joe Burrow is at $3.25.
Joey franchise, Joey Shiesty smoking Joe, the Tiger King. Fuck Carol Baskin.
So he's over Stafford, yeah? Oh, I'm
Stafford's favourite.
Favorite. Okay,
Favourite.
sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
$2.20 is lower than $3.25.
Yeah, go on.
Reinforcing that maths there.
I thought it was a dead body until he said yard clippings. You got to listen.
We have Cooper Cup sitting in at third at $6.
Okay. Now I understand. It's all good.
And then
Wow.
Had to stop myself there. Aaron Donald at $13. First defensive player there. So
You blokes have been listening to too much Joe Biden. Forgot how to talk, man.
So what was Donald at? $13.
$13, yeah.
Vaccinated 15 billion Americans.
So $13, that's plus 1,300?
Yeah, I think.
I think
that's how it works.
Yeah, I think it's...
It's not that hard.
Yeah, Rickon just was confirming that, yes, they do it as the plus minus.
Okay. Well, there we go. We're not that different, are we?
I think Aaron Donald is like sneaky $13.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He can dominate a football game.
Here's one. Can you chase up the last defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP? Did Von Miller do it?
He did, 2015.
Yeah.
He
for sure
potentially is probably going to be the last one. Because who was last year? Who won the Super Bowl last year?
Tampa Bay, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Year before that?
Patriots, Rams? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
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 it's Chiefs.
no, no,
Chiefs.
no,
Chiefs. It was Mahomes.
Chase Mahomes. The year before, Patriots, Rams.
Probably TB again.
This is a really shit exercise to do after a few beers.
I'm pretty
we
sure
go.
it was Von. I can't think of anyone post Von that won.
Just
it.
go Super Bowl MVPs. That Seattle Seahawks fellow won it as well that year.
that's
But that was
2013.
before. That was before. I'm
That's
pretty
2013.
sure. Yeah. You got it there? You
I don't.
I would
Misery?
remember. I knew who that
Yeah,
was.
So-
Edelman, Julian Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman.
Ooh.
Shalom.
And then Foles before him.
Big Dick Nick Foles. And then Von Miller.
Von Miller.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
last
we
defensive
said something
was
that
Von.
was correct.
Yeah.
Malcolm Smith.
Yep, was just before him.
That was the Seahawks fella.
Mm-hmm.
And then a
long-
long line of offensive players.
Yep.
Dexter Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
There
you go.
Ray Lewis has won the Super Bowl MVP
Yep.
defensively. But yeah, it is.
He's a sneaky for you then. What's Von paying for MVP?
Wow, that'll be some cash.
That's
It would be, but
sneaky.
it is. It is.
Put a little tenner on it.
Yeah. As if you would.
Put a little Andre Bocelli on it. A tenner.
Because I'm assuming it's like 20,
I don't
high
know. I actually
20s.
don't
I
know
mean-
that much about opera singing to confirm that he's a tenor. He's definitely not a soprano. Woke
the
up
odds?
this morning.
What's
with the
Von
boom
paying?
boom in my head.
So Sneaky's probably right. He's sitting at $34.
Sneaky
So
34.
a lot better than a few other players out there.
Yeah, put your house on Von Miller. That's the chat out of the Super Bowl. Anyway,
Well, a few sacks, strip sack.
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Anyways, in seriousness, to wrap it all up, awesome Super Bowl coming up. Two teams that no one really hates. Two teams. Well, definitely no one saw the Bengals. The Rams, pretty highly lauded, I suppose, coming into the season. Did have to
they're
get through the Buccaneers and the Packers.
Yep.
And did that fine. Can't wait. Let's go Super Bowl time. And then the cold 8 months of no football after that.
What are you talking about? Then we start talking about combine and free agency and draft.
Sean's fantasy season's just starting.
It starts in July for me. I try to keep it a bit going.
July, your fantasy lasts all year, doesn't it? Shit execution. Thought it was there. Shit execution. Awards. Aaron Rodgers won his fourth MVP. Is it his last in the green and yellow jersey? Looking highly likely.
Well, some of
Based on that speech,
yeah,
yeah.
some of the interview after that, and then he was asked at a golf tournament as well. Where you coming? And he's
gone.
like, "We'll see."
Now
we'll see.
We'll see.
Already talking about his former OC, and just like, yeah, he was a big loss. You know where he's at?
He's gone, man. He's gone, and it's looking more and more like Denver. But no surprises there. I think all of us had Rodgers as our MVP.
Nah, my favourite was Tom Brady.
Oh, you did have 10
He led Rodgers in all the other statistical categories. So I think the voting ended up being
QB rating. QB rating.
Yeah, this QB rating's just a made-up formula.
No, well, it's
And intercepts, that was it. Everything else, more yards, more touchdowns.
more turnovers.
Yeah, only a couple. Like, it wasn't many.
No, not a couple. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 picks on the year.
Yeah, it was the first 12. That's not that bad.
Versus 12 was three times more.
Yeah, how many more touchdowns did he have?
Like 8 or something.
I think it was 10, but anyway.
Chase it up.
That's why I got didn't matter. None of them even got close to Peyton Manning. So,
sure. But when you play...
The voting was 39-10 to Brady and 1 to Cooper. So Cooper did get 1 vote.
Good on him. And as we've spoken about before on the Esky, it's a little bit disappointing that it does seem to be the most valuable quarterback award. You can have a record-breaking year as a wide receiver or as a running back and not be even considered.
Well, I think...
Unless you're a kicker in 1980, as we did cover.
Yeah. I think they did get covered, though. So Cooper did win the Offensive Player of the Year award, and then TJ, who also broke the sack record, got Defensive Player of the Year. So they got rewarded in that regards instead of getting the MVP as such. But, yeah. Yes, you are right. The most vulnerable, the most valuable of the valuable. Aaron Rodgers got the win there. You can debate it back and forth, but deserving. Like he wasn't. He
was a reasonably short.
It wasn't like he bribed a whole bunch of people to vote for him. So
no, that's right. And he was actually losing voters after being an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, he's immunised, buddy.
Immunised, bro. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Micah Parsons, a really strong year for the Cowboys. And staying on that theme, Assistant Coach of the Year, Dan Quinn.
Yeah. Well, I think
obviously move forward.
So go back to Micah Parsons. I think he was the first linebacker to have as many tackles and sacks as he did, because most outside guys that get lots of sacks don't get as many tackles. I think he had 100.
Yeah,
over 100 tackles and then double-digit sacks.
Like more than that.
Crazy season for a young
was
bloke.
Also a function of him. He was playing middle and then moved.
He's playing both. And by the end of the year,
he's
like, they just moved him around.
Absolute freak.
Do what you need.
And very deserving of that award. You did mention TJ Watt breaking even the sack record an extra game.
His brother giving him the award wasn't too bad either.
That's pretty cool. FedEx Air and Ground getting TB12 and Jonathan Taylor a little bit of recognition for their unbelievable years. What about Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year? I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Yeah, considering the Titans getting the number 1 seed, obviously, it didn't work out for them. But playing not the whole year, but over half the year without their superstar and Derrick Henry.
And the 2 wide receivers, Brown and Julio for a lot of it.
Yeah, Brown was banged up, and didn't he come on strong at the end of the year?
Because I remember we talked about this, and we were talking about
Cliff Kingsbury with
and
Arizona.
And I think maybe even Bill. Can't give it to Bill to take again, but
he could.
He did his job.
He had a rookie quarterback take him, pretty deep. Past one game in the playoffs.
Yeah, but then I think during that conversation we went around the circle and well, what about Vrabel? He's had to deal with all this other shit. He said he lost the king and they're still winning. He's had basically no receivers for a lot of it. So, yeah, I think it's fair. Deserved winner there.
Agreed. Hall of Famers, if you wouldn't mind chasing that one up. We thought you thought DeMarcus Ware, he was eligible this year. He's 9th all time in sacks.
Yep.
You thought he should have walked straight in. He missed out.
The league
100% seemed to honour a few of the older guys.
I think if you bring up the list there, James, not a lot of guys that played post millennium.
Tony Baselli. Bit of a short
career, but elite.
Career.
I think he
only 5 Pro Bowls. Out of his 7 years in the league?
Yeah, the number there was 15.5 sacks across 90-plus games. So it's pretty elite for a left tackle.
Pretty elite there. Wonder why his career was cut so short.
They botched shoulder surgery. That's what he's known for. It was like a fucked up shoulder surgery, which basically ended his career.
Yeah,
right. Shoulders are important for a left tackle.
Yeah, they're pretty important for general life function.
Most people.
Cliff Branch, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders, inducted 1972 to 1985. He was considered the fastest player in the league for much of his career. All pro even 3 times and 3 Super Bowl winners. He led the league in touchdowns twice. That sounds pretty deserving to me, I would think. Leroy Butler, safety for the Packers. He was involved in their Super Bowl win throughout the 90s. He kind of changed the safety position a little bit in terms of being someone that could rush the passer and and be hard hitting. So interesting. Look, as a Packers fan, obviously I didn't really even know what the NFL was in those days, but I've watched a fair bit of film on Leroy, and he's a pretty handy player in his own right. And then Art McNally, a contributor. Yeah. Hand on my heart, can say I've never heard of this fella, but
nope.
he was a ref, an officiator, so good to see him.
He was a contributor for the Hall of Fame this year.
Inducted. Sam Mills, linebacker, Carolina Panthers, and
Saints
New Orleans
just before.
Saints before that, mostly with the Saints. Again, can't say I've heard of him. Aussies. Richard Seymour.
Richard Seymour was probably...
Richard Seymour seems pretty deserving. Obviously, he was big in the Patriots. With TB12.
Would you put Richard Seymour in before you put in DeMarcus Ware?
Well, good question. I suppose that maybe they think that Seymour's had a few years, and I think I agree with you. DeMarcus Ware did get snubbed a little bit this year, but the thinking is maybe, let's honour a few of these older guys, and we'll get to DeMarcus. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to approach it. But.
The big thing I think with Seymour as well, he kind of defined what a 3-4 end was. So when they, the 3-4 defense kind of got massive in the early 2000s. Everyone was trying to find a defensive end. That was Richard Seymour.
Dick Vermel, coach. Pretty deserving a very long career, 1976 to 2005 with the Eagles, Rams, and Chiefs. So he goes in. Who else we got?
Keeps going.
Bryant Young, defensive tackle, long career with a one club man, which is pretty rare, 94 to 2007, and that's it.
I believe that was the list, yeah.
So the list of guys that missed out, Jared Allen. So these are the finalists. Willie Anderson didn't make it in there. Ronnie Barber.
News, Bucks fan.
Devin Hester, of course, was the best return man of all time.
Getting in just as a return man.
Yeah.
He probably deserves it.
He has all the records.
Has anyone done better than him?
Not a return man, no.
Not even close.
No, as a return man, no.
He returned the opening kickoff of Super Bowl. Come on.
That.
Torrey Holt.
He's got to be in there.
Andre Johnson.
One day. Andre Johnson. Has he been out of the league 5 years? Wow.
Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, Reggie Wayne, and Patrick Willis.
Has he been out of the league 5 years?
Yeah.
Wicked old. Old as fuck. Boy.
I think we might be a little bit biased because a lot of the guys that missed out on this list were in the era that we've watched a lot of football.
Recency bias. It's a thing in anything. People tend to gravitate towards things that are more recent in their own memory. If you've got a...
But you look at those lists, you look at those guys and like...
They're
elite
But
at their
also
position.
we weren't there to see Dick Vermel coaching in the 1970s. True. It's hard to compare if you've only been alive for 30-odd years.
Yes.
And in those first 10 years of our life, didn't really even know what the sport was. I think the first time I remember seeing the Super Bowl was Tom Brady taking on the Rams in 2002 as a 12-year-old. And I remember watching it on SBS and just going, what is this sport? And then a few years followed, start playing a bit of Madden. We start getting a little bit of cable TV, and you start going, this is the sickest shit ever. And you're invested. But... yeah, it's not like in the 90s I've got vivid memories of watching cricket and watching rugby league. We don't really have that for the NFL. So recency bias, obviously a big thing with us at least. We'll see what happens going forward. I reckon a bunch of those names that you just mentioned.
That's got to be the class next year. Like they're there.
Marcus Ware, Patrick Willis, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Zach Thomas. Jeez,
it's a class.
Bloody oath.
It is.
All right.
Josh McDaniels.
Well, I think NFL head coach news, because McDaniels wasn't the only one, and they did get, I believe, someone from the Patriots, a VP, to come across and be their new GM. So going across and to be the head coach of the Raiders. I believe he showed up. He didn't do what he did to the Colts. Mike McDaniels is the Dolphins head coach. Lovie Smith is the Texans head coach, and Dennis Allen got promoted and is the Saints head coach. I think they were the last four that we'd missed out on that we hadn't covered.
Sure. Hard to keep a track of things when we haven't been in the studio for 3 weeks. Yeah. But Monks, you'll just bring up the most recent signings.
So I believe
you want to start with McDaniels first?
Yeah. Interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it?
After kind of how he flamed out really badly for Denver and you know, the whole cheating scandal.
Sure.
Which kind of caused him to get sacked.
Back to New England and they flourish, really.
Yep. Did a job with Mac Jones this year. So you can't question his offensive capability.
No.
Can he be a head coach? And I guess he definitely said in this one that I was too young when I was at Denver. Like,
how old was he? 34 or something?
Something like that. He wasn't right. And I'm not, a biased Denver fan, and I got to witness it firsthand of how that all went.
That's a good point there from Rick. And
yeah.
Offensively, this year they were pretty good. What about last year under Cam Newton?
Well, Cam scored, 15 odd touchdowns on the ground or whatever it was.
I think he threw for 6.
I think
that
was
threw
more
10 picks or something.
Yeah,
and even this year we talk about
it's more a limitation on Cam, I'd say. Then
and Mac Jones had a reasonable year, probably the best of the quarterbacks,
yes.
Rookie quarterbacks.
Definitely.
But did they run that offense through Mac? No, it was a ground based attack. Through.
But who designs that and gets them to win football games?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
As a Denver fan, I like that McDonald's gone there. Because McDaniels go there and hopefully stink up the place, and the Raiders go back to stinking again. That's my hope. But we'll see. We'll see if he's learnt his lesson, like Bill did when he went to Cleveland and came back to the Patriots. Did they learn their lesson from their first coaching gig? So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Do we talk about Doug Peterson?
To Jags.
Yeah.
So Brian Leftwich pulled out of that, and then Dougie Peterson went to there. So
so by reports, it looks like he's doing a little bit of clearing house as well. Just trying to get rid of the Urban Meyer era, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
Yeah, I would have thought the Brian Leftwich would have been a layup there. That made so much sense, but obviously they've gone with a guy that's taken the team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So.
No, he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, didn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, so he has the resume, as you will.
Yeah.
If we're talking about head coaches, we probably need to talk about the former Dolphins head coach and his whole situation.
He was the wrong Brian, apparently, in Bill's phone list.
Yeah, well, for someone that's probably as detailed as Bill is, was this a bit of a layup here or something to get the league on side? Is Bill not happy with something? Either way,
what is the go with the Rooney rule?
You got to interview minority candidates as a minimum as part of your coaching search.
Okay, so it's not equal representation towards the population in the United States. It just has to be a minority interviewed each time. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have some of the minority code through.
And that's been in the league for 20 years.
So your population note is a very interesting one because I was actually going to use that because I think...
I really don't want to discuss the efficacy of the rule.
The quick math though, I think there's, in the 2020 census, it was like 12 to 13% African Americans in America.
But that minority does also encompass Latino.
Exactly. I'm just using that number.
Perhaps an Asian head coach, Monks, if you want to put your hand up.
Well, Salah is Lebanese and Ron Rivera is Puerto Rican / Mexican, I believe. Mike McDaniels supposedly is, he says he's multiracial is his background, so I'm not sure how that all works out. Then, of course, you've got Lovie Smith and Mike Tomlin. But if you use that number, say it's 10 to 20%, you should have 3 to 6 potential African-American coaches of your 32 jobs based on quick math and percentages. So... You've got maybe some of it there. I don't think you're ever going to get parity of it's going to be 16 and 16.
Then that doesn't make sense population-wise, does it? But look at the players.
Exactly. But you look at the league, it's heavily... It's maybe
60-40.
So,
I think it's more, actually. I think, if you wouldn't even mind getting that percentage up, the percentage of black players, forget about the rest of the minorities, but just black players in the NFL, I think it's like 3/4.
Yeah.
So should the coaching reflect that?
Well, the Steelers, I guess, obviously love Mike Tomlin. They love he gets around them. So I think it depends on the person and it depends on the resume. Again, you can't purely based on your skin can't get you jobs. Like,
Yeah.
Coming from the dude with the white privilege here on the end of the table, like,
Sitting at this table, you wait.
yeah, exactly.
Wait.
So
we don't associate with you. I'm Italian. He's Chinese. No, that's sorry, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to do you like
That's
that. I don't mean to do you like that. We're all Australians, obviously, just in terms of our ancestry.
But you want the performance to define how you get the roles. That's what you lead to. And
exactly.
I think the Lovie Smith and the Texans job was interesting because Brian was in that one as well. And the statement the lawyers put out essentially that he missed out because of what he's doing. And like essentially he's sacrificing his career to a point trying to sue them. But I'd also say Lovie Smith potentially has a better resume than Brian does.
He's a coach of the Bears for a long, long time.
Took him to a Super Bowl, been to a Super Bowl. So
with Rex fucking Grossman as a quarterback. That's pretty good from Lovie Smith.
He's got he's over 500 like win percentage. So he's got a decent resume to Brian, who's like an up and comer. He's definitely an up and comer.
What do we think of Bill's handling of this?
I wonder if Bill just did it on purpose. Like he just,
unlike him to be one step ahead on the chessboard.
Yeah,
perhaps it speaks volumes of the New York Giants and where that organisation is at the moment.
We don't like to talk politics, but potentially all this stuff could then kick off all the stuff with Gruden because Gruden's suing and he's suing for the other side of the racism coin, but it kind of may lead to releasing a lot more of that emails, which will then help all the ladies involved in the Washington Dan
Snyder.
Yeah, that case as well. So
the NFL's of the NFL.
The NFL's got a lot to deal with.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
It was a joke.
Before we get sued after making $8.
Yeah, the cleanse will just make you disappear. It's all right.
I was on way on that plane 22 times, Hillary. Anyway,
it does seem like a lot of them get screwed. I think Denver kind of got caught out in this one as well because they did interview Brian through the process, but then we hired Vance Joseph. He was a coach like 2 years ago, so.
It's very interesting to see what's going to happen going forward. Does Flores have a leg to stand on in his suing? What's going to happen?
I think it's worth kind of pushing out putting in people's forefront of people's mind. Like get people like us talking about it. You have that discussion. Probably ends his career, or maybe he gets stuck forever as a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, depending on what he wants to do going forward, future. But at least people talk about it. At least maybe they'll change that rule where it's, hey, make sure you interview at least one person. And historically, it was you interview one and they never get the job. You interview the other, say 6, and they're the ones you're looking at.
Yeah. Race dynamics in the United States are probably not going to be
not our strong suit,
or in this country or anywhere, and it's probably not our not even our place to really speculate too much on.
No, and
but interesting. We'll follow it from a sporting perspective at least moving forward.
I mean, at the top of this part of the chat, I thought you were actually going to talk about the his allegations that the Dolphins were telling him to lose games.
There's that as well. Hugh Jackson
getting paid to lose.
Hugh Jackson said the same thing. Well, we wondered why did he get fired? He won too many football games. It's fair enough. Like they wanted the first round pick at least 2 years, both of the last 2 years, and they haven't ended up with it. So
didn't they? When did Tua go?
He was like 12 or something.
Oh, because he did his hip,
and it was after Herbert. And Brian wanted Herbert because he wanted to win fucking football games. Anyway, I think Tua's pretty good. He's got some legs to go, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. What it is. What it isn't.
Yeah, the NFL's been around for 100 plus years. There's ingrained culture there. Like that's what it is.
Yep. All right, let's keep
Won't
going
delve
before
too
you
much
cancel
into that. Yeah.
The Pro Bowl. This is something that we fucking all laugh at. It was a joke this year. Like it was an actual.
It was too hand touch, and bloody, I feel bad for Mac Jones. He housed that bitch. They should have given it to him.
Doing a white
blowing it dead to him.
White man gritty and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we got to say about that. Like, what do you do going forward? Obviously, down here we've got State of Origin where people are passionate. You want to play representative football because it's where you grew up. It's your heart and your sleeve. You want to smash the fuck out of the other team. Outside of that, we've got the NBA All-Star game coming up. Again, it's a little bit much of a muchness. When guys are making as much money as these guys make, it's fair enough that you don't want to get injured in a game that's essentially hit and giggle.
Plus, it's at the end of the year, and some of these guys haven't played footy for a month. Like they're out of kilter. Like it's the only all
They hit the piss hard.
Well, they would. They would have done their Mad Mondays and come back and
Is that a thing in America, Mad Monday? They should. They should
definitely.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's NFL's the only one that doesn't do an All-Star game mid-season. It's probably one. And if you use the state of origin comparison as we do for here, there's no
way to do it east, west, north, south.
You could do east, west, and you just divide the country in half this way,
based
on where you play college. But
play college.
That's how they've done it in the NBA. It's only goes off the team that you play for, your franchise, and there's no passion there. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for any way of making it more interesting, and I don't know if you can. When guys are on the contract that they are in the NFL and the NBA, I don't think there's any comparison. Whereas down here, you got guys that you're getting 30 grand a game. I'd love to get 30 grand to play any kind of game. But for NFL and NBA guys, 30 grand is chump change. Yes. And you get 30 grand to go play State of Origin, and you'll literally go kill someone for for that money. Because of the pride and the passion that goes into that game, and there's nearly 45 years of history behind it.
Yeah. So that being said,
money incentive is probably not a great one.
Do you just lean into the whole farce and just turn this into like a celebrity flag?
You could do that, or like the skills, like
the skills,
like try and go off like a more NBA, the 3-point shootout, the slam dunk contest, like try and make it a little bit more. And they did do that a little bit.
Well, they've got the dodgeball, the running, and
I just don't know. It should mean something to be an All-Pro. It should mean something to be.
Just go check out Sean Taylor. He'd like the Pro Bowl meant something.
It
was a punter, but it killed him.
Brian Mormon. Yeah. Shout out to him. He got absolutely lit up. And rest in peace, Sean Taylor, an absolute hitman on the field.
Legend.
Well, then does that come back to how the contracts are formulated? Like, you get bonuses for making the Pro Bowl. What about if you make bonuses for getting stats in the Pro Bowl? It comes back to the teams, though. That comes back to the teams.
Still the thing. If you take your 30,000 and you add a couple of zeros to it.
Financial incentive.
But even still,
if you threw some money around, actually, you get paid this amount of money to play in the Pro Bowl. You get paid this amount of money to win the Pro Bowl. You get paid this amount of money, like you said, to record a sack or to score a touchdown. Yeah. Maybe that's more interesting.
It's a league incentive. The league puts aside $10 million a team and just says, hey, if you get these stats or these, hit these numbers, then you'll get bonuses and you get paid.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, if I use Tom Brady as an example, like in the last regular season game of the year, like he stayed in, risked getting hurt through playoffs to make sure that Gronk got his bonuses.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some sort of, those incentives I think mean more to the player than.
But it also depends. If you're, maybe Tom Brady's a wrong example, say Joe Burrow playing in a Pro Bowl and you're like, hey, I can make $1 million if I throw 300 yards. Or I could make 100 mil by playing the next 10 years with no injuries. Maybe I don't play this football game.
Yeah. And that is the difference. That is
it's a business decision.
The crazy amount of money that we talk about. Yeah. The business decision. We see it on the field in the regular season. They say, guys, made a business decision. I'm not going to put my body on the line to save this, return touchdown or whatever it is.
Yeah, he can get an extra 5 yards and it's not going to hurt me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. True. It's a weird amount of money to even be considering.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about Alvin Kamara, though.
Yeah.
Follow on the Pro Bowl.
Facing 5 years in the can.
Yes. That's
not a good year for the NFL.
Well, that longest yard team's
Saints.
looking pretty decent with Ruggs and potentially Kamara joining him there. So
Las Vegas, just got to stay away from Las Vegas.
That was the memes. They were the memes.
They were the memes. That's not the thoughts or opinions of the Esky.
No, that's been floating around. It was like, that's
the internet. The internet don't give a shit. 98% of it's porn.
Yeah. So
I'm just going to float past that one.
No, it's true. Like, it's stating facts, bro.
And no, it's not good for the league. They've had a really hard year with player indiscretions, and now an absolute superstar, Alvin Kamara.
Not something to be laughing about.
What happened?
Do you want to go? You go, story.
Well, if you don't laugh, you cry.
I've only got like small knowledge.
That's my personal adage.
It wasn't like your typical just like one-on-one bar fight. It seems like this huge group of guys, and Alvin was one of them. Just beat the shit out of some dude, and they've all gotten
from our trusted mainstream media sources.
Yeah. Well, this is actually off the top of my head now. So the missus is a bit of a Saint.
More trusting.
Yeah, I know, right? Missus is a Saints fan. She's a bit of a Kamara fan, so she did most of the researching on this one for me.
But haven't you been carrying Kamara for the last couple of years in your fantasy team?
I have.
He also isn't real. So.
but also like his team is the Monkey Rangers on the end of the table are heavily dependent on Alvin Kamara. So.
Well, not next season. I'm going to drop him.
It's also not real. Let's move forward.
Yeah, I can't keep him next year, and even so apparently what was happening was in Las Vegas. I don't know if it was a club
post Pro Bowl. So it was after the game or the day after.
Yeah. So apparently he was arrested after the Pro Bowl. So he and his entourage were getting into a lift, and some third party tried to get in a lift. I guess obviously saw that it was Kamara and tried to get in on that. Pushed him out. There was a bit of an altercation, and then Kamara just went full MMA on him, UFC.
Is there any video?
I don't know if there's video.
If it's in an elevator, and there'll be some. Just wait for TMZ to find it.
Yeah, TMZ.
Roid rage is real, bros.
Yeah. So
what are you saying? Steroid use is rampant in the NFL. Your thoughts, not
so police have noted they have surveillance video to support the allegations.
The police.
But obviously probably won't release that until after due.
What seems dumb is he had his entourage, probably security guard, like his bodyguards.
Yeah, the guy that you're paying to go bash people.
Let them deal with it, not you.
Yeah, look, it sucks, and it's a massive name in the NFL, and we talk about the Saints,
big time assault, and
how they run their.
He'll have good lawyers, but I still think he's doing jail time.
Yeah, yeah, and regardless, career-wise, it's a big hit. They run their offense through that man.
Actually, no, I will revoke that. I bet you there'll be a big settlement, and the assault charges will be dropped.
Well, look, if you want to play devil's advocate. How much money are we talking to go get bashed by Alvin Kamara? I just got a beer on the internet for $8.
Maybe 12 for you?
$12. We're talking about how much Joe Burrow's body's worth. Mine ain't worth shit.
So
12 US, come on, get that sweet exchange rate.
Yeah.
Exchange rate.
Pay me in Bitcoin.
Oh, God. Ethereum, bro. That's my what is that shit even called? What's it called? Crypto. Yeah, there we go. That's how much attention I pay to that.
That's it.
It's not real. It's like fantasy football.
So this happened prior to the Pro Bowl.
But before.
Okay. And he played in the Pro Bowl.
He played the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
During the Pro Bowl,
Goodell
came out saying that his security team was told that the police would be coming in and arresting Kamara after the game.
In the locker room?
No, I don't know in the locker room.
Or maybe getting
it probably would have been
team bus.
After, yeah.
Wow.
Scenes. I mean, Kamara playing a whole game of football after doing something like that.
Yeah, but if it's the day after, there's got to be some kind of investigation, due process, etc., etc. But anyways, all jokes aside,
I thought it was more after it they'd gone partying and then
all jokes. All jokes aside, this hurts Saints. This hurts the NFL. This hurts the person involved. It's been a really poor year.
All parties involved,
in terms of player behaviour in the NFL. We'll see what happens going forward. But
that's it,
it's a massive name to be implicated.
So just to get the facts straight, police reports claims that Kamara was one of a group of 4 men who attacked the victim, fracturing his orbital bone in the process. The charges is a felony charge, which can carry a possible prison sentence of 1 to 5 years and mandatory $10,000 fine. I assume the $10,000 fine isn't too punitive, but the 1 to 5 years.
10 grand, I got it right here from Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, this is my ass wiping money.
That is one of the funniest things you've ever said.
I was killed Monkey at the other table. It was hilarious.
Excuse the stains. All right. Well, maybe the Pro Bowl's a joke. Maybe we're a joke. Who knows? Moving forward. That's enough. I think that's enough. Did you have any final statements?
No final statements. I guess we'll
choke
just.
on that beer or?
I'll just choke a little bit more. No, obviously all
second child's done you well, I think.
those dad
funnier.
jokes. Obviously, it's got to go through its due process. Got to go through the courts. So it's all just allegations until proven fact. So again, unfortunate circumstances for all involved. Hopefully, whatever the outcome is, it's the right decision.
Well said, well said. Let's move forward and check out the NBA. And what a wild week. What a wild last few days we've had, actually, in the NBA. As we've got a little doggo joining the set. Hey, Bambi, how are you?
Little Bambi join us.
It's all happening here on the Esky. Obviously, the big story was the Nets and 76ers trade. We've got the now defunct Ben Simmons jersey up there with our other defunct jerseys
well,
here.
Hasn't played in that all year, and he probably won't
Man has
ever
been
again.
getting,
So
man has been getting fined. It all happened through the last few days. The final trade will be James Harden and Paul Millsap for Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Ben Simmons, a first-round pick unprotected next year, and a first-round pick protected in 2027.
Yep.
Does anyone know what protected versus unprotected means in this context? I've heard of it in other contexts.
Probably can't be traded.
Okay. So, okay.
As in, so... I don't know. I'm speculating.
Speculating. Me too.
I assume like the team still holds it, and they trade it away to another team, and like it could move around.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my understanding of protected and unprotected was one leads the babies and one does not.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Might need to get in contact with Woj. Slide into his DMs. He can maybe explain it to us. Little Woj bomb on the Esky. But it will see Ben Simmons reunited with.
Might affect lottery picks. Thank you, Regan.
United with Paddy Mills. Paddy came out in the media and was speaking highly of Ben, saying he's been in his team. He was hoping that he could have mentored him, a little bit earlier.
Yep.
And I think they're looking forward to playing together as Australians. Where I
wonder what shape he shows up in.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's been playing that much. Obviously, a very, very gifted player, probably outside of his shooting, defensively and ball.
Which is what they needed. It's
ball
what
movement
lacked,
wise,
so.
So it's massive.
And to be able to keep Paddy Mills as well, because he was rumoured in this trade originally. So
I think it was offered actually, and it got rejected, and then they rejigged it all up. The initial deal did involve Paddy Mills and Matisse Thybulle. So two more Aussies, yeah.
Seth Curry's a good get though.
Seth Curry's a big get. Did someone win this trade? It seems like the 76ers are going for right now. Yep. Let's get Harden and Millsap there with Joel Embiid, one of the best players in the league.
Yep.
And try and do it right now. Whereas Andre Drummond obviously a little bit long in the tooth, but Seth Curry's not that old. Ben Simmons obviously quite young, and some picks. So maybe Brooklyn playing a little bit more of the long game.
Well, I think the Nets they still get talent. They still got extra talent there for Harden, who's probably, I don't want to say he's fat boy Harden, but he's he hasn't.
He's not Zion fat.
He doesn't. He's
not Sean fat.
No, he doesn't look like MVP Harden.
No, he does. I agree. He has looked a little bit of a step behind where he was. So, and of course, aging a little bit. Millsap, of course, is pro going back, but he's also he's aging too. Old, so, to get young talent in their prime, potentially still, Ben Simmons is an all-star. He's elite defensive player. So, I think I'd go the Nets won this trade. Yeah, I agree. I think going forward, I'd score it to the Nets. However, but you have to wait it.
Yeah,
you're waiting. Now is for Philly. Like they had that team that looked really good last year in the East and just kind of fizzled out. They got beaten by an Atlanta side, essentially beaten by Trae Young, and Trae was letting them know about it. I think, they're thinking now Joel is absolutely in his prime. He's a beast.
Potentially going to win an MVP. So
Potentially. And March 11, they match up. There's going to be some bad blood, you'd think, between Joel and Ben Simmons in particular.
We'll see. We'll see how many elbows get thrown. I did want to. What was I going to say? No, I lost it.
Classic story.
Ricken did mention here that there was a stripper that was tweeting out that Hayden Harden, had told her during his lap dance that he was going to the 76ers. So
and we all know about James's alleged affinity with women that take their clothes off for money.
Yeah, so,
James Harden, that is.
Yeah.
Look.
Alan Iverson's probably telling him all the hot spots in Philly.
We're talking about memes here, none of our own kind of thoughts or anything.
The point I wanted to make was Harden, Durant, and Kyrie played. I think they went 13-3, so they only played
games together. They only managed 16 together.
Yeah, which is crazy to think over essentially 2 seasons.
Right.
They put that team
I
together.
saw a good one this week with it was 2.5 men because Kyrie only gets to play half the games. They've broken up the big 3, but it was 2.5 men. Kyrie was the kid off that show. Shout out to you, Charlie Sheen. Hope you're doing well. I doubt it.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Mavs and Wiz. Want to talk Mavs Wizards?
Go for it.
So Kristaps Porzingis has been traded to the Washington Wizards for a second-round pick. Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. I actually thought Luka and Kristaps were looking pretty good together there at Dallas. This one surprised me a little. Spencer Dinwiddie, I do like to have a bit of a laugh that he's got one of the more unusual names in the NBA. My name's Anthony Pizzulo for those playing at home, so glass houses and stones, etc.
You missed the middle bit.
The middle bit.
Yeah, your middle name.
Get stuck in. Come on, we're not giving middle names out on the internet these days, are we? Jeez, get out the address. Thanks. What do we think about this one? Kristaps, I actually think, obviously he was a high draft pick taken. Maybe fizzled a little bit in New York, but I thought he was actually starting to look like a really good power forward / centre at Dallas. Did this one kind of catch us napping a little bit?
Yeah, whether they gave up on him a little too early, or they thought I can get good value for him now, and let's try something else with Luka. We've got Luka still in his prime.
Yep.
Luka might be looking at max deals elsewhere at some point.
Sure, yeah.
Trying to chase his own titles. Again, I think they're trying to capitalize a little bit now on still had value, and can we do something now while hopefully Luka stays around, but while we've got Luka, can we give him some other weapons and try something different?
You know what's interesting? Dallas's history with European players. So we're talking about Luka and Kristaps, obviously. Dirk Nowitzki there a long time. They don't mind a big Euro, big fella from across the ditch. That's more of an Australian New Zealand reference.
Yes, yeah.
Across the pond. I think is what they say.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to do that from the US to Eastern Europe. So
across the pond, they still call it a pond.
They call it a pond.
Yeah, they call it a pond. It's a big pond. Joe Ingles. This kind of hurts a little bit. Did his ACL last week.
Yeah.
And he got traded from the only team that he's ever played for in the NBA. Obviously undrafted, had to go through the hard way coming out of Adelaide, he was going to sign for the 36ers and they misspelt his name on the contract. And he said, stuff yous, I'm going to go to Melbourne. And that's how he came, because he was born and bred in Adelaide. Came through the Southeast Dragons, a now defunct team in the NBL. Before getting some time over in Turkey and Europe, had to really slug it to even make it into the NBA.
Yeah.
And had 8 or 9 pretty good seasons with the Utah Jazz. Had been a bit of a regular over the last few years. Does his ACL, gets traded. He was pretty upset about it. He made that clear in a Twitter post. Saying that this hurts a little bit. It seems like the Jazz, I think they're just trying to clear a bit of cap space kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
the NBA is a business.
Veteran ACL, can we get a little bit for him now?
He's 34.
Yeah.
He'll be 35 by the time he rehabs that knee.
He was electric at the Olympics. But he's really good for us for the Olympics. He's playing pretty well. I think they've just seen the writing on the wall with ACL. He's an older bloke. Let's get something for him, clear the cap space, and potentially go younger. So
Makes me sad, man.
It is. But
I know it's a business.
The business of it.
I get it. I get it. It's a business. We're talking about obscene amounts of money.
they treat players like cattle. So
cattle.
Exactly.
It's literally a saying. It's literally a saying. Do they have the cattle? It's more of an Australian saying than anything. But
they're playing for sheep stations. So.
Yeah, that's right. They are sheep stations. They're big fucking sheep stations over there, aren't they? We have had that discussion in a round of golf before. Are we playing for sheep stations? I wish we did, because I think I might own a few sheep stations if we were playing with you two. Don't know about against Bubba Watson. That's a reference back to earlier in the podcast. Monks, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the all-star teams. A lot more trades happened before the trade deadline, which is not for a little while. Team LeBron, Team Durant. Again, we've just come off speaking about the Pro Bowl. Doesn't mean anything. I suppose the difference in basketball is highly less likely to suffer a serious injury.
Yeah. They don't play a lot of defense, though.
No.
But
that's an understatement, I would say. That is an understatement.
They're happy to score some points. And
make it a bit more entertaining.
It's entertaining, so I think, which is the main thing.
Yeah. Whereas the Pro Bowl this year...
not so entertaining.
Nope. So Team LeBron. I think this team actually looks a little bit stronger on paper myself. We've got Giannis, the Greek freak, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, who's having an absolute breakout year for the Bulls. The defending MVP in Nikola Jokic. Luka Doncic off the bench, if you don't mind. Darius Garland getting his due, I think, with the Cavs' first-time All-Star. CP3, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, first-time man there in Fred VanVleet. Can shoot a 3-ball. I think he'll be in the 3-point contest. And James Harden. Did you guys see, I think you saw the videos of them picking the teams. It's essentially like a schoolyard kind of... back and forth. Yeah, back and forth. And KD did James Harden absolutely dirty.
There's some chat, though, that troll LeBron. LeBron kind of set it up with...
Latrell.
Yeah, trying to set his team up in a way that, like, hey, let's get some good size, because they know that Harden's probably going to go late, to force Durant to pick some size. And was it Gobert?
It's Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. Force him to pick him, and so that he couldn't pick his former teammate, now traded James Harden. But I think the chat from...
Done him dirty. Done him dirty. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's pretty funny. You can see
it's funny.
These guys are elite athletes, but you also get to that level and you have to have a certain bit of charisma.
Yeah.
And LeBron's got it in spades.
KD's
a little bit more debatable, I think.
LeBron's the face of a massive marketing...
Sure, yeah. It was, anyways...
Mega...
It was a classic stitch-up, as we'd like to say down under.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I think it was Chuck in that asking him, like, is he going to play? Is he healthy?
LeBron was like, isn't he injured? Like, is he going to play?
Yeah, he's just like, doesn't he have a hammy? He's like, he just got traded. He's healthy.
That's it.
If you wouldn't mind scrolling there through to Team Durant. Speaking of KD, the Slim Reaper, easy money sniper. This is his team. Joel Embiid, Ja Morant having, speaking of breakout years, actual smoky for MVP. Jason Tatum, Trae Young, Andrew Wiggins, I think will start for them. Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns is in the 3-point contest. We'll try and work that one out. Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray getting a bit of respect for the year that he's having with the Spurs. Chris Middleton, LaMelo Ball, and Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year. Thoughts? I think Team LeBron looks slightly stronger on paper.
Rickon will agree with you, and I will agree with you as well. Yeah, he definitely is. I think he's got the talent. He's got Giannis, got Curry, he's got the Joker.
Big time.
Yes.
How do we make this more, again, interesting in terms of it meaning something? Is there any way that... I know we just spoke about it with the Pro Bowl, probably the same kind of thinking.
I'd say it's exactly the same thinking. It's just
incentivize money, bonuses. For
I don't know. Like, I think we're also biased because of the state of origin. We want hard-fought, gritty contests like it's an actual game, whereas the US really doesn't kind of lead to that.
Yeah, it's about the...
But I think
just an exhibition.
But I think the main thing is
seeing
it
these
needs to be
players play
entertaining.
together.
It has to be entertaining. If it's not entertaining, no one's watching it. So if all these guys go
State of
out,
Origin's pretty entertaining.
it is because it can be
something.
Yeah, it can be entertaining in different ways. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
So, though it's not a gritty contest, can it be entertaining? And yeah, if both teams score 200 points, as long as some of that, it's just going back and forth and just easy buckets. We want to see big dunks. We want to see deep free throw points. Yeah, you want to have like an interesting, fun contest, which is entertaining.
Yeah, it's there's no answer. I don't think it's too much money involved in these guys' regular contracts to make it anything more than it is, and it's an exhibition. Yeah. So kudos to the guys that get picked. It's it's a big thing to have on your resume. It's a nod to the fellas that are performing in the NBA. It's good to see guys like Wiggins and Morant, and Fred VanVleet and these guys that haven't really been there before or been there much, but it's an exhibition, and we'll see. Take the over. Talking about taking the overs. The overs will probably be about 320. So
Easy.
Yeah. So take that. If you wouldn't mind bringing up the standings, monks, in the NBA. Whilst you do that, I was having a little chat this week with a few of the boys. Who is going to be a one club man out of the current players in the NBA? Steph Curry comes to mind. Outside of that, we just saw the trade deadline, and teams going mad.
You never know, like with Steph.
We saw Dirk Nowitzki do it. Oh God, who else did it?
But you never know, like Curry. Like maybe they get rid of Drummond, they get rid of Thompson. Like he's got nothing. They got a new coach in. Green, sorry. They're trying to rebuild that team. Steph might be like, I don't really want to spend 3 years rebuilding. I'm going to go elsewhere. Like things can change really quickly.
Yeah, sure.
It's really hard to say. Like
it's a business.
It's a business.
You could say like Embiid might spend most of his career there, but same thing. Like he might go.
He's still got plenty.
I haven't won a championship here, and I can't really get what I'm needing, and or maybe I'll go join these other two over here, and we'll make a run. Like a first like 10 years of your career, like most of these guys probably stay at one spot for the first 10, and then get in the back end.
If they're elite, they're elite.
Yes.
Giannis comes to mind. Giannis could be a one club kind of dude. Rickens just let us know. Curry is the Warriors. That's probably the only where if I had to put money on someone out of this current group of guys staying at one club, it'd be Steph Curry.
I think all of them will have long tenures, and then you have that. You basically get to that point in your career where you have that conversation with yourself: can I win more championships here? Do I want to chase rings, or am I happy just doing what I'm doing?
Well, let's think.
Do I love the city?
What about Dame Lillard? Say, for example,
same thing
at Portland. I think he's the complete opposite. I think Dame is a guy that's probably thinking, I'm not going to ever win anything here, and I'm essentially a generational talent.
Yeah.
Give me a bit of money, and I'll go chase a ring somewhere. Wherever that may be. We just saw CJ McCollum get out of Portland. You can't imagine Dame would want to stay around there much longer.
You never know. Again, you don't know the person. He could be content.
I don't know. Like in a small market team.
I would think most of the guys being elite NBA basketball players, that they have that competitive drive. They want to win championships, which is always going to be the problem. If there's a better opportunity to potentially win championships, wouldn't you take that, even if it's Curry? Like, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
I think Steph and Dame are two different ballparks.
Currently, but if the Warriors go the way...
You're thinking in 5 years' time, and a lot can change in 5 years'
time. Exactly. So, like, do I ever see these guys being 100% one club guys their entire careers? Potentially not, because there will be a point where they'll have that conversation with themselves. Do I need to go elsewhere to potentially add more rings? Again,
a ring.
A ring. Well, Curry, it's adding to the rings.
Sure, yeah.
And is he trying to chase rings to then chase a LeBron, MJ kind of record thing?
Here's something that's going to support your argument. Tom Brady. 3 years ago, if you said to me Tom Brady would be playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year, I would fucking laugh in your face. I would have laughed in your face.
I would have.
So in possibly supporting your argument there. Yeah, maybe Steph, when he gets a bit older, he goes, okay, well, I might do a TB12 and try and continue my legacy. But yeah, it's hard to even imagine what goes through these guys' heads when the money's is so crazy and yeah.
Well, it's the money similar elsewhere, but you got better chances of winning, doing better there, playing with more elite talent. Like
look at LeBron, look at KD, look at you know.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like because NBA is still team sport, but still for players very individual in terms of accolade. Like LeBron's like, I can win championships no matter where I go, sort of thing. It's not like
I need to go somewhere where I can control who I bring in.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah. But I think you're allowed to, your fate's sort of more in your hands a little bit more than with the NFL. Like it's
and it's probably the one good thing about the All-Star game is these guys get together, they get to chat, they start scheming, start planning. Like, hey, let's get together in X city and let's make a run at it. And someone will go, yeah, cool, let's do that. And that's how it happens. So.
It's an interesting yarn, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's a little bit further to the toilet in the new studio, so I'm going to
make
more
stairs.
Absolute bolt for it. Can you boys run us through the standings in the East and the West and where we're at? And I'll
sure. We can finish up the NBA.
Catch you before soccer.
That's it. Yeah. Well, just before we do that, so of current players, there is one current player who's played more seasons with a single team than Steph Curry. It's Udonis Haslem. For the Miami Heat, he's been playing for the Heat since 2003. He's currently 41 years old.
It's probably different for more of the role kind of players where they're content that I'm getting paid and I'm staying in my city. I like what I'm doing.
That's it. Just a bit of relief off the bench.
They're not in the upper echelon of the elite talent trying to chase rings. Is what we're getting at. So. It is. Again, it's a situation. It's individual, and you have to have that conversation with yourself of what do I want to be, what do I want to do going forward. Like if Curry's got, I can't even think, he's won, 3 championships currently?
Your guess is better than mine.
If he wants to chase LeBron or MJ's records, like I want to win more championships than they did, maybe Golden State's not the right area. Who knows? A lot can change in a couple of years. Roster turnover is big. You never know. He might be like, Golden State, give me what I want, or I'll go elsewhere. And they'll probably go, here's all the things, don't leave.
Name your team and we'll get them for you. Yeah. That's I suppose the other side as well, like how much is the organisation willing to back someone like a Steph Curry?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you'd think they'd stick true to him, considering how much he's brought to them in that city and their records. So anyway, standings.
So moving into the standings. So we start off at the Eastern Conference. We have currently got the Miami Heat sitting on top of the conference.
I think still top as well. The Bulls, I think, have fallen from second to third, with Cleveland actually popping up there, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, so both Heat and Cleveland on a bit of a winning streak at the moment. Not as good as the Raptors, but we'll get to them in a second.
8 straight for the Raptors is not bad.
Yeah. To round out the, top 6, we've got the Heat, Cavs, Bulls, Bucks, 76ers, and the Raptors.
And then you've got Celtic, Nets, and there'll be a third, Hornets and Hawks.
Yeah.
It's kind of sliding in there. Finally, they're going to get into that playoffs.
Anyone want to talk about the Nets? Have you spoken about the Nets slide?
No, we haven't talked about their slide yet, but
10 in a row.
Right.
10 in a row.
Yeah.
The 2.5 men. Without KD, they can't do it. It's 1.5 men.
Yeah.
And there, the one's gone. So it's half a man.
Yeah. There's been all the chat about Harden, forcing his way out of a second team in as many years. So there's probably a whole bunch of shit that's been going on in the background. Whether that now changes, do we then see both 76ers and Nets kind of rising up that leaderboard a little bit, or...
Nah,
Nets have got a lot of turning around.
Brooklyn, we just spoke about it. In the short term, they lost that trade. Maybe in the long term, they won. But I think in the short term, they lost the trade. So, no, I don't see Brooklyn going back up the standings.
Who knows? Maybe Ben Simmons comes out and he's on an absolute heater and he just goes.
Suddenly remembers how to throw sink threes.
He's looking like...
We've got that jersey right there. Curry redundant, but... you know. I still want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
Still want to see him succeed.
I suppose also touching on that and like him coming across the nets, having Paddy Mills, hopefully that
bit of a mentor.
Yeah, mentor role. That Aussie connection there. So
gets him just what he needs at the right time. I think for me, the main one though is the Hawks kind of moving up that ladder a little bit, getting into that 10th spot.
What about the Knicks? They've been disappointing in the East, haven't they? Given their year last year. I think Julius Randle looks a step behind where he was.
I've seen some stuff of him getting into it with the coaches and the sidelines.
He's fired up.
I don't think they're happy at the moment.
ESPN ran an ad last week. I don't know if it was in America, but it was definitely down under when they were playing the Lakers, and they said 2 top 5 stars of the NBA going at it: LeBron James and Julius Randle. And I was like, heck. Like Julius Randle's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
He's good, but he's not that good.
Top 5 just to sell this game? Come on, man. Come on,
just for me to tune in.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I was going to watch it anyway. Seriously.
That's it.
I think we've spoken about it before. Pacers, Magic, Pistons,
Done.
They're all done. Let's look at the West.
Yep.
Phoenix.
Yeah, so no real surprises there, I guess.
Well,
How far
Warriors
in
dropped
the
2,
front?
so that gives the Phoenix Suns a 4.5 game lead on them. And then the Grizzlies, Jazz, Mavs all been playing good.
Have we hit the 3? Oh no, we're almost at midway because of the All-Stars. Yeah,
We're slightly past.
Slightly past. Yeah. I was going to ask if we hit 3/4, but yeah, slightly past halfway.
Yeah. Again, understanding how your brain works. Really understand.
Fuck you guys.
Nugs, Wolves, Clippers,
can you go back to
Lakers,
records?
Pels all lost a little bit this week. Yeah, nothing new
Slide
to,
over, go
to
records.
report that much, I don't think.
No, nothing's moving. I think Nuggets probably the only real movers in that list. Timberwolves may move down slightly. I think the Lakers is probably the biggest concern in there.
Yeah, why do they stink so bad when
they're full health?
when AD and LeBron played together? Why are they dropping games? Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of it's been, when AD's out, that's a massive out. Yeah, sure. When LeBron's out, that's a massive out. When those two play together, they shouldn't drop games to fucking Sacramento. Do you know what I mean?
Not at all.
They shouldn't be losing games like that.
Yeah. What's the bottom of that ladder there, James? Because Rockets are well done there. They've fallen a long way. I think Pelicans is probably an interesting one. They're sneaking in there at the 10th spot currently.
Yeah, just picked up CJ McCollum. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see how that looks. The 2 LA teams is probably what you're interested in there.
Yeah,
8 and 9, so.
both going unders. And look, Clippers with no Kawhi and PG-13 been out a little bit. Pretty hard to do it.
Well, considering the Lakers behind them and where they're at the moment.
Indeed. Should we move forward to our other round ball game?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
So let's talk about our Socceroos.
Yeah, have not done themselves any favours.
Mate, they lost. Well, no, they didn't lose. They drew late last week in Kevin Muscat, oh man. Repeat of a joke from last week. Can you have a look at our run home? We've got to still play Saudi Arabia and Japan, both those sides ahead of us by a considerable margin. Highly unlikely that we get into that top 2, given that we've probably have to win out and we need a few favours from some other sides. Really shot ourselves in the foot because I kind of put this down as a win. We kind of put China down as a win earlier, and both those games weren't able to get it. And it was a bit of a soft penalty, actually. Anyways, that aside, what's ahead is taking on Japan here and Saudi Arabia away, I believe. UAE is the 3rd place side in the other Asian group. So if we were to finish 3rd, most likely face them and then have to go through 5th in South America, which could be Colombia, could be Uruguay, some classic battles in the past, could be Chile. Probably don't want any of those. We don't want any of that to happen. It's looking highly likely, unfortunately. It's pretty simple now for the Socceroos. Have to win out and then hopefully jump up into 2nd position. How many points behind Japan and Saudi Arabia are we, Max?
Yep. So we're currently sitting on 15 points. Saudi Arabia's at 19 and Japan's at 18.
Okay, so if we beat both of them, good chance we're okay. Lose a game, and we literally can't catch the Saudis. And if we lost to Japan, that would be that done too. What's the goal difference like?
Yep. So we've actually got a pretty favourable goal difference. We're sitting at +9 at the moment. Saudi Arabia is sitting at +5. Japan's at +6. So if we can really get
better than both. All right.
Yeah, if we can really get that win against Japan, that's
huge. That's huge, and try and get into second place. It's definitely.
When is that match?
It's March 24th. It's my birthday, I think.
Yep.
March 24th. I think that's how I remembered that. Don't really want to think about how old I'm turning, but yeah. So we're well over a month away. We're 6 weeks away, but have to win out. You'd think 4 points. 4 points would be interesting, especially if we beat Japan and were to get an away draw at Saudi Arabia. That might do us just enough, but it's pretty cutthroat, man. If you finish third, look. Anything can happen, but I highly doubt our ability to not only just get through the UAE, but then to go beat the 5th place team in South America in a one-off.
Yeah.
Last thing we want to do is go to South America. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Obviously, in the past, John Aloisi, Stadium Australia, penalty goal against Uruguay. I was 15. He was taking his shirt off. I already had my shirt off. I was that pumped up. Never seen us go to a World Cup before. I don't really want it to go to that kind of level. And just the talent in South. Like, I don't see us going through Chile or Colombia if it was to happen. But, yeah, we've really – that 2 points hurts. That really hurts because if we had to finish that game and got that 2 extra points – you're on the heels of Japan. You're within striking distance of Saudi. 4 points is a lot to be behind Saudi Arabia. Even though we play them once, I think their other game it's not Japan. It's one of the weaker sides. So yeah, it's going to be a hard slog. Have you got CONMEBOL there, South America?
Yeah. So Brazil, Argentina are obviously going through. They're on 39 and 35 points each. We currently have Ecuador sitting in at third at 25.
Ecuador. See, this is tight. From Ecuador pretty much to Chile, 6 points. And that's they played 15, they play 18. They play 18 over there.
Yeah.
They've all played 16. So only 2 games to go.
Yeah.
So Ecuador is probably through.
Yep.
Then it's tight. Uruguay, Peru, Chile, Colombia. Could be any of them.
It could be. So,
but at the moment, it's Peru.
Yep.
5th would be Peru.
Yep, that's what we're looking at.
Tough ask, mate. Let's hope it doesn't go down to that. I think that game in Australia, it's going to be Telstra Stadium, March 24th. I think it's sold out, Australia and Japan.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Imagine if we miss out. Quite disappointing. This will be the last World Cup of 32 teams. The next World Cup will be 48. So hopefully we're a bit more regular, more regular when a quarter of the teams in the world make the World Cup. Hopefully. Let's go to the EPL. Fuck it. We'll talk about Kurt Zuma first. when the boys said a little bit of animal abuse, he's kicking a cat. I was like, oh yeah, it's probably not justifying it, but it's probably a stray cat in his that was pissing in his backyard or, being a general nuisance. Not justifying that, of course. It's his own cat. It's his cat. It's his own pet. And him and the boys, I don't know what's going on, but there's videos of him kicking it and throwing it across the room and just being a general knob. Very lucky, actually, to miss out on Mop of the Week. You get an honorary mop there, Kurt Zuma.
Yeah.
And a bit of a slap on the wrist, actually. I think he got a 1-game suspension and maybe one more game in terms of match fees. So they didn't really come down too hard on the West Ham, former Chelsea centre-back. West Ham, of course, having themselves an absolute year. They sit in 4th place at the moment, and we want to talk about that battle for 4th. Arsenal are a point behind, with 2 games in hand. United absolutely shat the bed the last few weeks. Drew with Burnley. They're sitting 6th, and Tottenham Hotspur's shitting the bed too. It's anyone's game. Wolves still there in 8th. You'd think Brighton are probably a little bit too far behind. But that battle for 4th is really, really interesting. United, boys, they pick up, not only do they pick up Ronaldo, arguably the best player in the world.
Yep.
Pick
A
up
lot of people's go.
Rafael Varane from Real Madrid, an elite centre-back. They've got Paul Pogba, who, shows class here and there. That team on paper, it should be them, City, Liverpool, Chelsea duking it out at the top. What is going on? Obviously, we had the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer earlier in the season. Why is this team struggling to put away Burnley, who is coming dead last? And what are the implications of it? Because we're talking about one of the biggest football clubs in the world.
Yeah, you might have hit the nail on the head with stability, maybe. They're just... And consistency.
Or maybe the top end. The top end is unreal in your Ronaldo and your Pogbas, your Varanes, your De Geas. But maybe having Fred and McTominay as, your holding midfielders, maybe not on that same level. But yeah, sixth is underwhelming at the moment for Manchester United. Granted,
they're a point away from 4. So
there's 15 games left. The thing that does concern a little bit is Spurs are 3 points behind, but they have 2 games in hand. Yeah. 2 games in hand there, and Arsenal, who are ahead of them on goal difference, same on points, also have a game in hand. So when you look at that, it's a little bit deceiving. That 6th place should possibly read more like a 7th or an 8th.
Yes.
It's
going to be challenging. Arsenal definitely played a lot better than they did at the start of the year.
Yeah, they started really, really poorly.
So I'm not sure. It's going to be a good battle. I did want to ask you one question, though. Do you think Liverpool can catch City?
The whole year I've been going, it's like not the whole year, but the last 3 months at least. I'm like, it's boring. City have got this wrapped up, rah, rah, rah. And then we spoke about it last pod. They suffered a loss, and I think they had a draw since then, which actually gives Liverpool nine points behind and a game behind. So within striking distance, within 2 games, you'd say. The problem is, as a Manchester United fan, is who is the lesser evil? City or Liverpool? I know we've spoken about it before. We've looked at polls, and most United people say Liverpool's actually the bigger enemy than City. Yeah. I don't know. It's something, and I think it's something that soccer needs to address. If you look at the other leagues, Bayern are going to absolutely walk it in Bundesliga, win their 10th in a row, 10 in a row. PSG have wrapped up Ligue 1. Serie A and La Liga are still in the balance, but it's all the big clubs doing their thing, and I think it's a problem with soccer. Like I think as people that are used to salary caps and any team being able to maybe rebuild in a few years and turn it around. Fuck, imagine being in Germany and not going for Bayern. 10 in a row. Yeah. And easy, it's like, the season's still got 4 months left, and you're like, oh, we'll just give that man the $10,000 right now, Yeah, it's Hans Moleman shit. And I don't want to say boring, it's a world game, but it wanes your interest. It wanes your interest when you're on the other side of the world, and Bayern's going to walk into their 10th title.
Yeah. The EPL is closer, but to take your point, the top 3 have clear everyone's.
Yeah, it's set.
It's probably going to be those 3 in some order. Most likely 1 probably going to stay where he is, and 2 and 3 might switch. But we're talking about 4th. We're talking about who's going to finish 4th.
Well, that's right.
That's the competitive battle.
There's still a third of the season left, and we're talking about that 4th Champions League spot being more interesting than the actual title race. However, like you said, look, stranger things have happened. Liverpool's 9 points behind with a game in hand. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they do catch City. I agree. But yeah, it is strange. It seems like it's becoming a little bit more one-sided, especially in Germany and especially in France.
Yep, I agree. Just check our Newcastle watch. Can you just scroll down?
I think they're out of relegation. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
They're a point clear. They're a point clear of Norwich and a game ahead. So all that foreign investment, they're looking forward to a big year next year, getting a bit of oil money coming through. So they are currently sitting in 17th behind a woeful Everton at 16th. We could talk about Everton for a few minutes if we wanted to, in terms of teams underperforming. Manchester United, have you met Everton? Everton, have you met Manchester United? Down the bottom there, Norwich, Watford, Burnley in the relegation zone. There's still a third of the year left. Stranger things have happened. You know, Leicester won the fucking thing a few years ago. Let's not let that escape our mind.
Well, Burnley still have 4 games in hand, according to that. So
2, 3, yeah. 3. They got three on Norwich, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You'd think that City get the job done, and the race for 4th is more interesting going forward.
Agreed.
And Kurt Zuma stops kicking cats.
You want to hope he does that.
Yeah. What's that? That show? 8 out of 10 cats.
Oh yeah.
8 out of 10 cats think Kurt Zuma's a fuckwit. Yeah, work that in anyway.
Yeah.
Good show, actually. I'll have written. It
is good. It's good fun. Get the comedians.
Unbelievably smart. She's a United fan, I'm pretty sure. 8 out of 10 cats, shout out.
Don't have them all.
Africa.
Well, before we move on, I think, I'm not sure if it was Sean that mentioned this earlier on in the week, but Christian Eriksen is back in the EPL.
Yes, he is.
That would have been a good shout at the end.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Rather than fucking koalas.
Hey, they're endangered, bro. They've got chlamydia and they're endangered.
Chlamydia. I'm good. They're dirty little koalas.
Yeah. So he got picked up by Brentford this week.
Massive.
Brentford, sorry.
Said he's keen to play, and so
yeah.
So what were we? We were on Steamers Bucks, weren't we? When at the Euros he went down.
Yeah.
That was June last year. Mm-hmm. So 8 months. Getting his ticket worked on. Essentially went close to passing away. Yep. Great news for anyone. This is a nice human.
Definitely.
Sport aside, this is a nice human story to see someone, go to the brink and recover and reach, come to the EPL. And granted, it's not Tottenham, but Brentford fans, I'm sure, will be happy to have the Dane. And wishing him all the best going forwards after some very, very crazy scenes last year.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish him good health, definitely.
Yeah, bloody oath. Africa Cup of Nations, our favourite cup. Boys, I said Egypt. I said Egypt from the start. They went a bee's dick away.
Yeah, did they win?
No, they didn't win. Can you bring up Senegal? Bring up Senegal's team. I think when I was going through the teams, I may have been a little bit tunnel vision, perhaps. I thought Mohamed
Salah.
Yeah, I thought this striker. Obviously,
understandable.
Shout out to Sadio Mane, obviously excellent player. But look at the depth across this Senegalese team. It's probably no wonder that they actually got the job done, even though it was a penalty shootout. Yeah. That said, their team is actually pretty fucking stacked. All right, let's go.
Hang on.
Bring it up on the Wikipedia. Go.
It's the most accurate information.
It is. And we spoke about this during the week.
At Joseph Pepsi Burns.
And it got changed the next day. Full disclosure, we changed Joe Burns. We changed his Wikipedia for a day to say that his middle name was Pepsi. Because it turns out his middle name is the same middle name as mine, and we believe it's spelt without a H.
Yes. That's what I had on his certificate for whatever degree he got.
I think it's business.
Business degree, yeah.
Shout out to Joe Burns.
So his Wikipedia is incorrect. It is spelt correctly with the H, but that's incorrect because it's spelled incorrectly.
We got the team down there. All right,
Tom.
Let's talk about Senegal. Edward Mendy. They got Chelsea's keeper, so that's got to prick your eyes up. Their captain, Koulibaly, he's at Napoli, who are currently leading Serie A. They've got a guy at Milan, Toure. They've got a guy at Bayern Munich. We just talked about how they're dominating in Buenos Aires. They've got a guy at Leicester in Mendy. Idrissa Gueye, he's at PSG. And obviously Sadio Mane up front is Malassar at Watford. There's some fucking pretty big clubs right there to come out of a little country out of Western Africa. So perhaps keep an eye on them going forward to Qatar. How far away are we? When can you look up start of the World Cup? It should be July. I think July. It'll have to be around then. So we're less than 6 months away.
Yeah,
so keep an eye.
No, isn't it later in the year?
Oh, they're going November.
November.
No, yeah.
November.
I thought I was like, it's later because of
July's going to be middle of summer.
It's fucking hot
in the fucking desert. Nah, bro, all the stadiums are aircon. They're delivering on all their promises. They deserve the World Cup. Anyways, that's enough on the round ball. Let's do some final round chat. A massive final round. UFC 271. Izzy, Whittaker 2, and the fight before it. Derek Lewis, Bam Bam, Ty Shuivasa. Boys, how do you want to do this top to bottom?
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well.
We'll just run through it. Good. So UFC 271 snuck up on us a little bit. That's the way I think about this.
It was only 2 weeks between drinks, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And it's a big card. Potentially even maybe... Oh, no, the other one had 2 title fights on it. I think there's more name value on this card.
Well, and down under, like this...
It's a big card for us.
It's
a big card for
Australians / Kiwis. Yeah, it's a big card for us.
For Anzacs, it's a fucking massive card.
Definitely.
Middleweight championship of the world, Israel Adesanya. He's got one loss, a style bender. He's going to go up against the number one, the contender in terms of Robert Whittaker, fighting out of Australia. Boys, it's a bit of a shame that this is over in the States. It would have been great to get this down under. However, the fighters pretty much all have packed up and moved over there, considering COVID stuff, etc.
Makes it easier.
What are your thoughts on Adesanya Whittaker 1?
Adesanya just outclassed Whittaker.
Yeah, I didn't like Whittaker's game plan. He tried to come forward in a hurry to try and close it out quickly.
Sure.
And that kind of really played well to Israel, and he just counterpunched the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I think Robert's probably going to be a bit more reserved in this one.
He's going to be a bit gun shy, you'd think?
Not gun shy, but take his time.
Yeah.
And whether he tries to close the distance into more of the, using some of his wrestling acumen, kind of like Jan did against Israel, because Jan is like 20 to 30 pounds heavier than Israel, and really use that to dominate him, hold him down. So to get that one loss you've got there in Israel's record,
we're also at a different.
It is different weight class.
Yeah.
So Whittaker's not the kind of that level, but Whittaker's clearly the number one in that division and has been dominating everyone else coming through.
He's been on his socials. He's eating whatever the fuck he wants. Just classic Izzy.
Just because he can.
Yeah, because he can. I saw him in bed. I don't even know what it was. It looked like a lot of sugar and a lot of carbs. And this was like last night, like 2 nights out from his fight. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Israel's going to come in super confident. I don't know. I think my point is I think Robert will play a more technical fight in this and see where he can push Israel into situations that may be more beneficial to him.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to come in, coming straight forward, guns blazing.
No, you can't do that against
I don't think it's the way. I think you're trying to take away his weapons. Trying to get him to fight off the back foot probably didn't work as well as he thought Whittaker thought it would too. So I'm not. I really don't know how this will go.
You're not confident either way?
I'm not confident. I think Israel should be the favourite and potentially is most likely to win this. But Whittaker just has something that I think he potentially could win. Like again, it's a 50-50 chance he would step in that cage. I just can't see what he's going to do. I think he might be more reserved, try to get Israel to come forward. And in the process, he might try to take him down and then see what he can do ground-wise and how Israel interacts with that. Maybe that's the game plan. I don't know what they're going to be planning to come in out for this one.
I'm going to slightly disagree. I think Izzy is the short price favourite and is for a reason. I think he should be able to just stand back. No one can take him down. His kickboxing is elite. If Whittaker can take him to the ground, maybe it's a little bit of a different story. But I just haven't seen. Obviously, we had the loss against Blachowicz going up.
Yeah, that's up.
I just haven't seen at middleweight anyone really threaten Israel Adesanya. I think he gets the job done here, and I think he does it reasonably comfortably. Again, much like the Super Bowl, I like both these guys.
Yeah, but want a good fight.
Exactly. One out of New Zealand, one out of Australia. Izzy fighting now under the Nigerian flag, and and taking it up for lanky guys, just kind of like skinny dudes. I'm not comparing myself to him or anything like that, but I don't dislike either of these guys.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, and no disrespect to Robert Whittaker, he deserves to be there. But I don't see him getting through Izzy in this one. Monks, do you have any kind of differing opinion?
No, not really. I think Izzy is that level that everyone needs to compete at the moment, and no one's really at that level yet. Whittaker's obviously being number one contender has potential, but I'm just looking through the tail of the tape there. That reach advantage for Izzy,
it's massive.
It's massive.
And we talk about him losing to Jan. He went up and went 5 rounds at light heavyweight.
Yeah,
like, come on. Like, how is anyone at middleweight gonna go stand toe to toe with him? I just can't see it.
yeah, that's it. And Whittaker does have some BJJ background as well,
and that's what we
so
say.
That's
if
like
and
Sean
it's
mentioned.
a big if. If Robbie could get him to the ground, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of an advantage there.
But
I just don't see it happening.
No, closing that gap, getting a takedown, it's going to be hard. Adesanya's got pretty good takedown defense, so he's not
pretty good.
So Whittaker
doesn't get taken down.
Yeah. So Whittaker shooting's going to be very hard, I think.
The other thing that really concerns me about Whittaker, watching all his recent fights, is he always gets hit with a shot that really he doesn't have a chin at this point. The fights with Urel really took it out of him, in my opinion.
To be fair, we talk about power at middleweight. Yoel Romero it has to be pretty much at the top of that list.
That's probably my biggest concern is like every time, like he's won and he's had a winning, but he always takes a shot in one of those fights and you're just like, oh, fuck, hold on, please don't move. So I don't know. It's you could get blasted early and then that's it. But either way, let's hope for a good fight and then last a bit longer than the first one did.
What do the odds say? I think Izzy is a reasonably short favourite.
Yep. Yeah, he is. He's sitting at $1.31 at the moment. Whittaker's out at $3.26. We got method round combo. Favourite is in Izzy's corner at TKO first round. But overall method of victory will be Izzy by points at $2.40.
By points?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting because those numbers on the bottom of that kind of led towards that if it went to decision, that Whittaker wins a lot of decisions. And it makes sense because he has that style where he can land a lot continuously, that jabbing, kicking kind of style to win points.
I suppose the thing that kind of skews that is he's so good at knocking
out. Yeah, exactly. If he can make it there, then maybe, but he's got to make it there. That's the point.
Indeed. Speaking of a fight that probably no one wants to go to the distance, we've been harping on it. We wanted the UFC to put some respect on Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa's name, and what have they done? They've given him.
He's number 3. Good luck.
They gave him number 3.
They've given
Derek
him every
Lewis.
opportunity.
And I imagine the odds that we'll get to in a second probably don't reflect the true nature of taking on the Black Beast. We are talking about Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa. How long ago was Ty's fight where he won? It was fucking November, wasn't it?
It wasn't. It was a couple of months ago.
His last fight. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
November,
It was
December, maybe.
December 11.
December 11.
Yep. Up against Augusto Sakai.
Yeah, and smoked him. Smoked him. So taking that on quick maths, 2 months. What do we see happening here, lads?
Firefight. Whoever lands the bazookas first is probably going to win.
That's what I hope for. We do think about when Lewis fought in Ghana, obviously different circumstances.
That was
one of the most boring fights of all time.
That was a one-off. There was a rarity, I think, in that one.
Was that because both guys just
Lewis
respected the other's power so much?
Maybe. I think Nagano was trying to get over Michik and was gun shy, and Lewis had back injury going into that. So he was just trying to make his way through it. But yeah, I don't think this will go that way, and I don't think any heavyweight fight since then has gone that way. Anyway, during the week said if he wins, he'll happily do a cuppy from Derek Lewis. So all in for that.
Explain to the listeners what a cuppy is.
Well, imagine a shoey, but you replace the shoe with the other fighter's cup, which protects
Jock strap.
Protects his genitalia.
Thoughts?
Might be a bit extra bitty, more bitter than I'd say the shoe would be. Yeah,
a bit more bitty.
A bit more bitty, a bit more bitter.
If he hasn't caught anything from shoeys, he's going to catch something from that cup.
How do you think the koala's got chlamydia? Like,
from doing cuppies.
Allegations, all that, just allegations.
I tell you what, I for one, if I just won like a massive fight against like an opponent like Derek Lewis,
if you knock him out, I'm like, bro, can I borrow your cup? So
look, I'd probably do it, to be honest. However, in terms of the opponent that he's facing, Derek Lewis in particular, his cup, like, no offense, like Brandon Moreno's cup, yeah, all right, okay, maybe
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going?
He's called the Black Beast for a reason.
I don't want to be drinking out of the cup of a man called the Black Beast. Do you know what
it's a big cup.
You're picking up what I'm putting down here. Yeah. It might have pressed against it a little more than other fighters, perhaps. Say if I was fighting, if I'd knocked myself out, I'd drink out of the cup because it wouldn't have touched the outside of it the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about cuppies and shoeys or whatever happens after this fight. Does Tai Tuivasa have a chance here, or is he out of his depth taking on the number 3 and former title contender in Derek Lewis?
And this,
it's heavyweight. You always have a chance.
In heavyweight, you got a chance, especially in this kind of fight as well. Like if it was Stipe, different story. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have a chance at all. But against Derek Lewis, this is the kind of fight that Tua likes and might go his way. I don't like his chances, but hey, I'll get it back to her. Let's say he gets the win.
Yeah, fuck yeah. He's Aussie. He's a madman. Yeah, he's an absolute madman. And we like to say it. Yep. Blokes up there doing shoeys. Doesn't give a fuck.
Agree.
Get around him. Thoughts, Monks?
Yeah.
You're going to be the voice of reason and say, this man is the number 3 ranked man for a reason.
No, I think it's a good fight for Tuivasa. Like, he's been needing this fight. Like, he's obviously ranked 11th at the moment. Lewis, like you just mentioned, 3rd. This is what he needs to get into the top 5. Like,
coming off four wins in a row.
Yep. Yeah.
He did have that losing streak back in 2019 where he lost 3. Spivac, Ivanov, Dos Santos.
That's
He's strung 4 in a row.
Yeah, and like you sort of mentioned, Lewis is a good sort of matchup for him.
Both absolutely elite knockout artists.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it'll be entertaining.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I'd like to see it go a little bit further outside of the first round just so we can see a little bit more fighting, but yeah, I can also imagine that this is going to be over within the first 2 minutes.
I've got Ty's last 4 fights here. Second round against Sakai. First round against Greg Hardy. First round against Harry Hunsucker. First round against Stefan Struve.
There you go.
The man can finish.
Yep.
Odds, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep.
I think Lewis is
Lewis should be favourite.
Yeah.
And coming through an Australian betting agency, possibly unders on Tuivasa.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, yeah. So Lewis is favourites, $1.49. Tuivasa is the underdog at $2.50.
That's coming through Sportsbet, unofficial dogs of the Esky. So maybe Tuivasa is more like a $3 kind of option, perhaps.
Possibly, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then method round combo, we've got Lewis first round TKO KO 250 And overall method of victory is Lewis with the TKO KO at $1.83. So one way or another, we kind of...
He should be favourite because of his history and where his ranking is. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. Other markets for this fight. Two of us' walkout song, Elephant, Like a Virgin by the Wiggles.
I don't think it's going to be
tied
that.
favourite, $6.
I don't think it's going to be that. What else have we got?
We've also got Down Under.
By Lude.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that either.
No, No Effect, Hooligans Hefts.
Yeah, it's going to be something in West Sydney. It'll be something West Sydney based, I would think.
Yep.
Yeah. Call Me Maybe, Kylie Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
Sitting fourth there.
And wouldn't waste money on that.
Really?
No.
That's a stupid thing.
He seems like the kind of bloke that would make fun of it.
It's an interesting market. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Shall we get into the back end of this main card? Jared Cannonier, the killer gorilla.
Yeah, Cannonier and Bronson.
Yeah, Derek Brunson. What do we know about these two fellas?
Well, the 3 and 5 winner of this, I think, gets the winner of the main event.
Do you reckon? Straight up there? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the history, Israel wanted Cannonier if he beat Whittaker. Whittaker won that fight, of course.
Yep.
Which then sent him away. And I think, what has he got there? He beat Gaslam.
Yeah, Kelvin Gastelum.
Yes. So I think that makes sense. If he wins this, then yeah, he'll get the winner of the other two. I'm not sure who's in second currently. That'd be Vittori.
It is Marvin.
Yeah, so that's, again, he just lost to Israel, so it does make sense for him. So, yeah, that's why these are 3 and 4. Bronson's kind of had a bit of an interesting up and down kind of career. Again, I think he lost to Whittaker recently, so...
He's quite old as well, pushing 37. He's on a 5-win streak. His last loss is coming to
Israel.
Izzy and Ronaldo Souza. Since then has been through Theodoru, Heinisch, Shabazazan, Holland, and Darren Till.
Yeah, not huge names there. Holland, he absolutely dominated that decision.
Till's
Till's probably a bit, but Till's kind of coming up a division as well, so not huge. If he gets a win against Jared, that's a massive win for him. So
He'd go the distance against Anderson Silva.
yeah, I'd say Cannonier is my favourite in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Cannonier, he doesn't look like a middleweight. He's not built. He's not built like a middleweight. So
he's built as the answer.
Correct. I'll go with Cannonier. Monks, your tip, and what do the odds say?
Yeah, I've gone Cannonier as well. He's favourite $1.53. Bronson is $2.39 with that one.
Moving into the last two fights on the main card.
Lightweights.
Both lightweights. Alexander Hernandez takes on Renato Moicano. What do we know about these two? They're a little bit lesser
not
known.
a huge lot. I know more about Bobby Green, I think.
Looking forward to that one.
Even both fighters not ranked at the moment.
Both unranked.
That's an interesting record there, 3 and 3. So
yeah. Hernandez has gone win, loss in his last 6. Losses coming to the likes of Cowboy Cerrone and Thiago Moises. So pretty handy blokes right there. In terms of Moicano, what do we got here? He's gone win, loss, loss, win.
Yeah.
Has beaten Cub Swanson. That's pretty interesting. His losses came against Jose Aldo and the Korean Zombie. So some pretty formidable.
So he's coming
right there.
up in weight based on that then?
Yeah, I believe so. Those fights.
A bit of filler,
Yes.
unfortunately, but
That's all right.
Will be.
Sometimes these lightweight fights where
you got 3 good fights at the top of the card.
but sometimes these ones with guys that
they'll
you
be
don't
elite.
really know are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're fighting for contracts. They're fighting for rankings.
That's
so.
right.
Yeah, well, 270, was a bit light on the card, but the early fights were
top
still
end.
good.
Yeah,
So
indeed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bobby Green even, and Nasrat Hakparas. I hope I said that right. Bobby Green, obviously later in his career, had an unbelievable knockout in his last fight where he wasn't favoured that much. He's mid-30s. He is 35 up against Hakaras, who is 26, so nearly a 10-year age difference here. I tell you what, Bobby Green doesn't look like a 35-year-old fighter, given his last performance. Do we know much about Hakaras?
He lost to Dan Hooker. That's probably the only thing kind of relevant to us.
He's German-born.
When was that Dan Hooker fight?
Afghan parents. I'll tell you. It was September last year, so nearly 5 months in between.
Lightweight for Dan. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, good chat.
Yeah, I think Dan went right through him. That's why I can't remember it. So that's a bit unfortunate.
Went to decision.
Yeah.
Anyways, maybe a little bit lighter on the back end of the main
No
card.
pun intended there. For
Indeed. Other points of notice, Andre Arlovsky is fighting in the prelim, and we've got two Aussies on the undercard, do we not? Casey O'Neill is fighting. She is fighting Roxanne Modafferi in the women's flyweight. She fights under the Australian flag. She's Scottish.
I think she fights on the UK flag.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought her dad was groundskeeper Willie. King Casey O'Neill. She hasn't lost.
No, she hasn't lost. 4 fights in the UFC.
I think this was I think she had a big blow up about our corona rules as well.
So this is why she's fighting out of UK.
I think she did use the fight out of here.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
she's
take of that as you will.
She started a professional career in Australia. She fought in one of the Australian MMA comps here, undefeated in that as well.
Ranked 15 now, taking on Modafferi, who is ranked 12.
The happy warrior.
Yeah, interesting. Happy's probably not what I'd go with. Is trying to instill fear in the opposition. And who else is Aussie on this undercard?
Flyweight.
I don't think I saw anyone. Carlos Ulberg is New Zealander.
That's maybe what I was thinking. The Black Jag. Taking on the Water Buffalo, Fabio Charant. But anyways, it's probably the prelim. A few good fights there on the prelims, but definitely a top-heavy card. Can't wait to see Izzy Adesanya and Robbie Whittaker too. And obviously, Tai Shuivasa taking on Derek Lewis. Will he become Tai Kapivasa?
We'll see.
What else have we got going forward? Oh, footy.
Footy's back.
Aussie, Australian Football Rugby League. The Indigenous Maori game is on tonight, Parramatta Stadium. I think not Bankwest anymore. I think they lost sponsorship. That will be on Darug land up there in Western Sydney. 4th edition of this format. I must say I do like it better than the old format with the NRL All-Stars taking on everyone else.
Yeah. The world or whatever.
Yeah, the world kind of team. I don't think there was that much passion with the world team. Whereas I think, obviously you're playing for your heritage. We spoke about it earlier in the podcast with the State of Origin and how it incites so much passion and pride. You're playing from where you came from. That's where you were born and grew up. This is your heritage. This is doesn't matter where you live. This is your Maori or your Indigenous. I think
it links back to that community that they all
exactly
play with.
Yeah, I think the passion is unreal. You see the haka and the Indigenous war cry beforehand. We might have to get up on the telly tonight because we'll be talking to the Indians, the Daily Capitals.
Yep, for the IPL. Might have to keep this on the background.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, there's no cricket. We can multitask. Can't multitask. My wife definitely is one. So looking forward to that. Footy's back. It's only the start of February. The girls will be the curtain raiser at 5:20, followed by the men's game at 8:10. The likes of Jordan Rapana, Dylan Walker, Chanel Harris-Davida, Cody Nicarima, James Fisher-Harris, Kenny Bromwich. That's a pretty good list of guys right there. They'll be kitted out for the Māori. And Josh Adokar will skipper the Indigenous side. Hamisa Tabui-Fido is there. Nico Hines is there. Dave Fafita's there. Andrew Fafita, I want to touch on. This is his first game since he was in ICU in an induced coma after fracturing his larynx, I believe it was.
Something in his throat.
Yeah, literally, he was struggling to breathe on the field. They called the ambos. I think they intubated him in the ambulance. He had time in intensive care. You know, playing footy was an afterthought kind of thing. Yeah. It was kind of like, you know, let's make sure this guy gets through this. So less than what are we about? Yeah, it's about 6 months since that happened. The fact that he's out there and playing, that's a fucking massive story. Laurie Daly coaching. Does
he have a club this year?
No, I don't believe he has a club.
I didn't think so.
What did the Dragons might have picked? The Dragons actually might have picked him up on.
I'll let Monkey see if he can find that.
Yeah, see if you can chase that one up. Trial games start next weekend. We're a month away from the kickoff of the NRL. Our favourite sport, rugby union, that's kicking off soon. Super Rugby Pacific. So they've got a 12-team competition with the 5 Australian teams, the 5 New Zealand teams, with the Fiji Drua and Moana Pacifica.
How are they doing this competition with the New Zealand teams?
I don't know. I've got fucking no idea. The Western Force are in this competition.
Well, I assume they're not playing any home games.
No, I imagine all the teams have gone and quarantined and playing.
Whole comp in New Zealand?
I have got no idea. Obviously, we're big rugby aficionados. We'd probably lean a little bit more.
Like most people are.
No, you'd be surprised. Going back to university, this year. Maybe that's the crowd. Maybe that's the crowd. Rugby's still alive in this country. Obviously, the NRL probably generates a little bit more interest. But yeah, that's about to kick off next weekend.
Anything on for feeder?
Still the Sharks.
Sharks. Yeah. So I don't think he's on the big money that he was on last season. But yeah, it's cool. Footy's back. We're a month away from the NRL. Aussie rules will be coming soon. We'll be talking about it a little bit more often here on the Esky.
Definitely.
What about the Winter Olympics, boys? It kicked off, for us at least, Aussies with Jakara Anthony taking home the gold medal in the women's moguls. She led throughout. She came 4th, I believe, in Pyeongchang, so just missed out. She's from Queensland. Queenslander.
I think I was reading her parents did meet on Mount Buller, so they've probably
spent a few holidays down in the mountain. How good! Actually, haven't won a gold medal since Lydia Lasilla back in 2010. So 12 years between drinks there.
Yeah, it's good for the Aussies there.
Yeah, massive. And mogul skiing has actually become a little bit of a strong suit. We had Dale Beck-Smith win the gold medal back in Vancouver. We kind of stole him from Canada, but we had Matt Graham win the silver last Olympics. So mogul's becoming a little bit of a strong suit for Australian skiers. I don't know if you boys have seen the moguls courses. I've seen the one up at Perisher. And I'll tell you what, up at Blue Cow, part of Perisher, that one, and I don't know if that's even at an Olympic standard. The steepness and the bumps on that is fucking insane.
Every time I see moguls, my knees just start hurting.
You do wonder
I do
about
not understand how people can...
the long-term impact on the knees is crazy. And just dropping into that first jump, and we saw back in Pyeongchang, the girls at that first jump, it would be like a 360 into like a flip down the bottom, and now they're going like 360 minimum, but maybe 540. Sorry, not 540 in moguls. Maybe like a cork at the top into like something crazy at the bottom. Just the sport advancing so rapidly in the space of 4 years. It's unbelievable to see. And Jakara Anthony bringing home Australia's first gold medal in the winter format in the last 12 years. Outside of that, Australian Scotty Jones, he just missed out on the gold yesterday. He had it through 2 runs. He crashed out in his first one. In his second one, he put up a 92 point something, and it was sitting in first for a long time. And then Hiruma, I think the Japanese, he's only a little fella. He pipped him in the last one, but Scotty Jones would be very happy with a silver medal there, backing up the bronze in 2018. So maybe, going forwards, bronze, silver. Who knows? I think he's 27. So he'll be he'll be 31. He'll be 31 next time in Italy. They're going to Milan Cortina. Scotty hopefully will be still in his prime there. And we saw, speaking of Italian-Australian, Valentino Guselli. He's from the south coast of New South Wales. 16. He came 16. He built this massive ramp. I don't know, at his parents' place, I guess.
Most likely,
Down at Dalmeny, around Narooma, a really nice place here on the south coast of New South Wales. He came 6th and gets some of the most air out of anyone in the sport at the moment. So look for Valentino Guselli going forwards. And the other medal, actually the first medal that we won at the Olympics, Tess Cody. She won bronze in the board slopestyle, first Australian medal in this event. Other things that have caught my eye throughout the Winter Olympics was the first thing. We actually, for the first 4 days, sat ahead of the United States on the medal tally. So pretty interesting considering how much snow we get compared to the US. They have jumped us now. We're 16th, which is pretty impressive for a country which is mostly renowned for its beaches and deserts. Irene Wust, the Dutch speed skater, I think she is the only athlete, winter or summer, to have won the same event 5 Olympics in a row. She's 35 years old. The 1,500 metres in the speed skating, she's won it. She's won that when she was 19. 23, 27, 31, 35. That makes sense.
Yep.
And the Dutch, they fucking dominate the speed skating. They go wild. Esther Ledeska. I think that's the pronunciation there. It's very similar to Ledecky, Katie Ledecky.
Yep.
She's got 3 gold medals now across 2 Olympics. You know the funny thing about her? She snowboards and skis. One of her gold medals came from skiing in Pyeongchang, and she's now won the women's giant slalom twice, and I think she's going up again for another skiing medal. I don't know how you guys, the listeners perhaps have most people get okay at snowboarding, most people get okay at skiing for those that have taken on the slopes. To get really good at both, unbelievable to be elite at both. It's like 2 different sports.
Well, that's what I was trying to think during the week. If this was happening in the Summer Olympics, it's not. I wouldn't say it's probably quite as similar as going from the pool to track and field.
No,
but a comparable sort of what would be. It's not
like running the 100 sprint and then backing up and doing the 1500.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that comparison.
It's like doing short distance and long distance.
Okay.
It's like
just like
it's skill based. It's like being and this is the same analogy actually. It's like being an elite track cyclist and being an elite road cyclist. But there's no comparison really. It's like you know what a good comparison is to Summer Olympics? Canoe and kayak.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's probably a more applicable comparison. Anyways, comparisons aside, the lady has 3 gold medals. She could possibly win a 4th. Unbelievable to have that kind of control and talent across 2 different disciplines. A nice story in the snowboarding. It was heartbreaking for us Australians. Belle Brockhoff, she finished 4th. She made the big final. She came from behind in the quarterfinals. She did really well in the semi-finals. She made the big dance. Three out of 4 people win a medal. Unfortunately, she missed out. But the lady that won it, Lindsay Jacobellis, the American, in 2006, she was winning. She was winning. Last jump, they got a big jump. You just, snowboard across, it's a race. You're not meant to do tricks. She did a trick, crashed, and got the silver medal. And she's now 30-something. She's like getting a little bit long in the tooth. So
finally got rewarded.
Yeah, 36 she is, 36. So how many night she would have went to bed and thinking, oh, geez, I wish I didn't do that fucking tail grab.
Yeah.
It's sad. It is sad for Belle Brockhoff. She's an absolute character. It was kind of cool. You know, most people, when they face the media, they say the normal things. Oh, yeah, I'm disappointed. I put in all the hard work. You know, I'll just get back and I'll be thinking about Milan, yada, yada, yada. She was saying, oh, I feel pretty shit. I'm going to go and cry like a little bitch and get back to, I think she's in a team event, really wears her heart on her sleeve, which personally, that kind of suits my style a little bit better rather than being the media robot.
Yeah. So just to touch on Belle Brockhoff, it's actually gone from bad to worse. So she was in the team, snowboard cross event, and she crashed out, had to be stretchered off. All reports. It must have been fairly recent because this new, because I was literally just Googling updates to wrap this up. So by all reports, she was sent to hospital.
That's nasty.
Australian Olympic Committee, I think, put out a post saying that she appears to be okay, just getting precautionary scans.
It's a wild sport, the snowboard cross. Like you've got four people, like one person going down that course is crazy. You've got four people jostling for position. You see some hectic wipeouts. It's an absolutely insane sport. So thinking of Belle, hopefully she's all good
100%.
and there's nothing too serious going on there. Moving forward, what do we have on for today? The team snowboard cross we spoke about. There's some speed skating, some ski jumping. What about the old biathlon? Strange sport, isn't it? A little bit of cross-country skiing, a little bit of shooting. Yeah, you get
very Scandinavian.
Definitely. The Russians tend to be pretty good in it. And then going forward, we'll see a bit more of the bobsleigh, the Jamaicans. They're coming in. The introduction of the women's mono bob in this one. No puns intended there on mono bob. And we're actually equalled our best ever performance as Australians at the Winter Games, and we're a week in.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
So a question for you, of what's remaining, how much of that is Channel 7 actually going to show for you?
Good question, yes. And I've always been wholly critical of Channel 7's coverage of the Winter Olympics. I think it's actually better than Channel 9, where Eddie Maguire used to be the anchor. And you said, you just kind of thought, Eddie, I don't know, like, if you could get down the green run maybe and front valley, there's a fair few Australians these days that know how to ride a little bit of snow. I'm not saying that I could at an elite level, but Eddie Maguire, if you want to race me down accelerator at Pershart, the call out is there. Maybe we'll scull a beer first and try not to say anything racist. All jokes aside, the coverage has been poor. I think the coverage has been really poor.
Do you think some of that, though, comes from the country that they're in? Because by all reports, it's been a bit of a shit show over there with the athletes in the village.
Mate, and we've seen empty stadiums. A lot of the coronavirus.
Well, they've been in lockdown, I think, since the start of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. It has looked very unusual, this whole thing. And outside of the sport, there's been obviously a lot of speculation as to the human rights violations, treatment of Uyghur Muslims.
You need to put inverted commas around the speculation.
Yeah. And look, we're a sports podcast, but it's worth mentioning that obviously it's been quite contentious, these games going ahead, even the way that they are. So look, let's try and focus on the upcoming sport. We'll see the ice hockey get into the business end. We've got snowboarding, big air. I don't know if you guys.
That's what I tune in for, is the ice hockey for the Winter Olympics.
Do you guys see that referee? Poor fella. How does that work? You can deck a referee into ice, and he was laughing. Like, he was like, yeah.
It's probably a common occurrence.
I think they're built different.
Probably loves it,
those hockey players, he's probably a former player, and he's just getting smoked. I think that was in Switzerland, Russia, maybe, from memory.
Well,
they're built different, the whole hockey players, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether it's what combination of Canada, Russia, and the US will be in the final for the ice hockey.
Sure thing. And I guess that'll wrap us up. The first podcast from the new studio. Looks pretty good, boys. I think we did a good job. I don't know if our chat's improved at all, but
No, probably not.
Long
the
way.
chat did enjoy the new studio, so shout out to everyone that jumped in and gave us comments.
yeah, thank you. We appreciate it very much. We should be back on about a weekly basis moving forward as Sean settles in his little second bub, and we'll look forward to cricket going forwards, the Super Bowl, basketball getting to the pointy end, and obviously all of our footy codes coming in down under. Sure.
Yep, wrapping up the Winter Olympics as well.
Quick scan of the news. Nothing really much has happened today.
Slow news, though.
Yeah.
Bit of a slow news day.
Great
Saturday. Everyone weighed in fine for UFC tomorrow by all accounts. So, we're all good to go for another excellent week of sports.
Thank you to all our listeners. Of course, please consider chucking us a subscribe on the YouTube. We do have an Instagram. We do have a Facebook. Please, if you wouldn't mind checking that out. Thank you to any loyal listeners that go through this dribble week by week. We are a little bit over a year now into the podcast game. Please stand by tonight.
We'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm going to go home and have a little kip, I think, and then we'll be talking to our friends at the Delhi Capitals and trying to cover a little bit of this IPL auction. It'll be very interesting to see how the teams go and how the Aussies go. Who's going to get the big money. That will be from about 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard. Yep. Thank you to all. I hope you like the new digs. Thank you for hosting. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Tonight.
Bye.
Catch ya.
See ya.
Hit the record, Mr. Monkey.